Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to Fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's Fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com.
Hello, welcome to the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Yeah, James Harden couldn't hit a bucket. The Cavaliers couldn't hit a free throw, but it didn't matter. Cavaliers win 125-94 in Game 7. We're going to New York, baby. Game 1 will be Tuesday. How we doing, gentlemen?
Yeah, doing real well. You know, if you asked AA and I how we were feeling on Friday, and if you watched Midnight Run, then you could tell AA and I weren't doing too well. Doing a lot better. Overall, I mean, takeaways, you see Donovan Mitchell. He played probably his most poised game as a Cavalier, I'd say, in a long time. This was unlike any Donovan Mitchell performance we've seen this postseason, unlike any Donovan Mitchell performance we've really seen this season. He never looked like the game was too ahead of him. He wasn't settling for bullshit step back threes. It was just a very, very good performance by Donovan Mitchell. Is it going to be the sexiest stat sheet? Not necessarily, but he touched every part of the stat sheet that matters and things we were actually harping on. Him not developing as a passer. Double A and I talked about that on Friday night. Him not developing as a passer. Him not really playing too hard on defense. All those things were addressed tonight. And so for one night, we can breathe easy. 2 for 10, I believe, is what James Harden finished with. I'm trying not to think too much about that, but that does worry me going forward. But yes, all smiles for the most part. Double A, how you feeling? I know your blood pressure got to be a little lower than Friday.
It's listen, I can come on here and I will at some point say, man, if only we could get this effort every single night from this team. I mean, right. I will say that at some point, but at this moment, at this time, right here at 10:53, with the opportunity to play in the Eastern Conference Finals in New York City, I am so effing proud of this Cavs team, this roster, this group, these fans, Dan Gilbert, who we'll talk about later in the show. These guys grew up tonight in front of our eyes. They finally handled pressure and overcame adversity. Detroit looked like they didn't belong on that floor tonight. And Rob, I'm just there's so much to nitpick, but at this very moment right here, right now, I'm so proud of this basketball team.
I mean, it's odd that simultaneously this team has gone further than it's ever gone in this incarnation anyway. First conference finals since 2018, first conference finals without LeBron since 1992. Yes, AA was months old, and Eli, yeah, he wasn't even here yet. Yes, I am proud of this team, but at the same time, it's odd that this team has gone further than it ever has, while simultaneously I have felt more nervous about this team than I ever have. But at the same time, AA, you're right. This is a night for celebration. This is a night for jubilation. We are going to New York. Jared Allen showed up tonight, big time again, second straight Game 7. Just an absolute beast of a night, 23 points. 7 rebounds. AA is right. Not the sexiest stat sheet ever, but 4 Cavs with 20 or more points. Detroit, they looked lost. They looked absolutely just above their skis when it came down to it. And I mean, this is a team that lost 60 games 2 years ago, and they're now in Game 7, ready to punch their ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals. So, we're going to make fun of Detroit, and we absolutely will. I saw actually one on Twitter. One sports talk host was complaining about how rude the bust full of Cleveland fans that showed up were. But meanwhile, the video he showed, they were just screaming, "Let's go Cavs." So I don't know if Detroit's gotten a little softer in recent generations or what, but yet here we are. But this is a night for jubilation. Again, nothing against Detroit. They had a great season, but it's over. Ours is going to keep on going on. So, I mean, a lot to nitpick, I guess, if you want to go negative. But, I mean, we can honestly, I think the positives far outweigh the negatives. For every James Harden, there was 3 guys in 20, doing 4 guys in 20 or more points. So, good night for the Cavaliers. The other stat I do want to throw at everybody, and I think this was the big one. We have been talking about, for months, for this entire series, it seems like, points in the paint. And the Cavaliers simply dominated that tonight. 58 points in the paint to the Pistons 34. I understand it was a little bit more than that differential, but I think the game was decided early when Jared and Evan and everybody started kind of hitting from underneath, and that fed the 3 points. Thank God for Sam Merrill being able to hit some shots. Thank God for all these guys being able to hit some shots tonight. Again, the leader in the 3-point race did win the match. So I mean, modern NBA, but a whole lot nice to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, we'll definitely spend some time, or at least I will. And if we don't on this show, we'll spend time on primetime addressing what needs to change for the Cavaliers to beat the New York Knicks, because there were some things that still they need to address. Let's be clear, though. The Cavaliers took the soul out of the Pistons in the first half. They were up significantly large. They could never get the crowd into it, plus the 25 buses that Dan Gilbert brought to Detroit. I mean, mix that all in. Detroit really was behind the 8 ball. And like I said, Donovan Mitchell, I got to give a lot of kudos to, because I was very hard on his performance, on his leadership going into, Friday night, midnight run, and a little bit even on prime time. I was really critical of Donovan Mitchell. I think a lot of people in Cleveland were, just because this is what we expect out of him. And in a Game 7, we need him to step up, to put that performance together like he did tonight and really impact the game. And there was a few guys that impacted the game. Evan Mobley, really impactful. I mean, defensively, we're never going to really question that. But offensively, really picking and choosing where he was going to get his baskets, and then also distributing the ball when he felt that pressure on him. These guys were never feeling like in the earlier games in the series where they were panicked with the ball if they got it down low, because there was so much pressure. They adapted to that toughness. They showed some physicality themselves. Jared Allen shoving Jalen Duren out of bounds and causing a jump ball. I don't know how you did that, but I love it. You look at some of those things, and that's like the positives. But let's also be realistic. As much as we love Sam Merrill, this was a shoot out of your mind type of performance for Sam Merrill. And I love that it happened. We needed it tonight. But that's why I brought up in the beginning, just to address that we cannot have this James Harden in important games going into next round, because that is something that we made a move for to ensure that we won't have to have Sam Merrill shooting out of his mind to win Game 7. I'm happy it happened, and I hate to be the realist here for a moment, but let's just also understand that the New York Knicks are chomping at the bits if this is the James Harden they're going to get next series. He's supposed to be the guy running with Donovan, and tonight he wasn't. So luckily the other guy stepped up. We're moving forward and heading somewhere for the first time since 2018. I'm happy about that. Definitely happy.
But the crazy thing, the first 6 games of this series, that flipped. It was Harden carrying Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
The first 6 games, which I think is interesting. I think the most important stat, the most impressive stat, the most important stat from Donovan Mitchell was the 8 assists.
Yes.
Because early on, I'll be honest, I get nervous when he puts up his floaters. I know that's one of his signature shots, but those shots have not consistently fallen in these playoffs. So I've gotten nervous with Donovan Mitchell bad games in the playoffs if his shots doesn't fall he's not really doing much else to help the team offensively. It's more of a liability. Today, he helped move the ball around the floor. He helped distribute the ball to his teammates. And honestly, and Mitchell, 26 points. We're going to have a lot on Mitchell. I guess if you want to talk about, for me, the two guys who we needed, who we could say right now, oh my goodness, these guys elevated. It was our front court. It was Jared Allen. I'm calling right now. Game 7, Jared Allen is that dog. End of story.
Like playoff Roke.
Yeah. Fro on the move, on the air fro, whatever that Iron Eagle said. Game 7, Jared Allen is a dog. I've seen what I needed to see. And the funny thing, guys, with Jared Allen, the redemption story, it all comes full circle on Tuesday in New York City. But Evan Mobley, ever since that debacle of what was it, the first 2 games, and I'm just like, this dude and his contract, this is a terrible contract. What is he doing? Evan Mobley elevated himself, 21 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. And again, commanding the floor, commanding the paint. So I guess those are my bigger takeaways. Harden, Eli, you do have a point, though, with James Harden. But I will combat and say that the first 6 games, it was James Harden running the show and not Donovan Mitchell.
Right, but the one thing I would say, and I know Rob's got some thoughts too, but the one thing I would say on Harden, though, AA, is the only real thing that went down tonight that I was happy about was his turnovers. His turnovers were significantly lower. I know Rob was chomping at the bit, so I had to beat him to it. But, Rob, I mean, let's talk about James Harden on that end. Cool. But I just get worried because you look at the New York Knicks, and they pride themselves on defense. They come from Tom Thibodeau. Now they're with Mike Brown, 2 defensive-minded coaches. They're going to put guys on Donovan that are long. Mikal Bridges. You're going to see some OG Anunoby on Donovan Mitchell. That's why I'm worried about James Harden, because who knows what type of front court we're getting. Hopefully this is the norm. But, I mean, this was nobody saw this coming. 4 Cavaliers and 20 points or more. I mean,
and one of them wasn't Harden.
That's what I'm saying. And that's, I don't mean to be Debbie Downer. I'm very thrilled that the Cavaliers are heading to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I also understand that there's a tough road ahead with the New York Knicks that are defensively sound. We thought we just saw a lot with Detroit. New York prides themselves on defense. And I think that's just important to bring up, that James Harden needs to bring it. That means less turnovers because they'll eat them alive, and scoring the basketball. Can you look like 28-year-old James Harden for just a few games, please?
Well, the stat that I was going to throw in too, you talk about Harden's turnovers, 1. And it was a shot clock violation in the first quarter when it was still kind of close, and I was very upset about that. But also the number of combined turnovers between Mitchell and Harden, 1.
Right.
That was the number I'm looking at. This was the scenario that I had in my head with James Harden was, okay, if he disappears in Game 7, let's just hope he doesn't give the ball away. And there's a couple of other guys around him, Donovan, and in this case tonight, Sam Merrill, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, that can pick up the slack offensively, because that's exactly what happened. Yeah, we weren't relying on Harden, at least in Game 7, which I think I heard 35% shooter in Game 7 in his career. So, I mean, again, this was something that isn't exactly unexpected. So we handled it well. And again, despite the fact that we couldn't hit a free throw, this game should have been a 40-point victory if you want to get down to it. If this team hits 85% of their free throws like they should, it's an even bigger blowout than what a 31-point win that the Cavaliers had. So, yeah, I thought this thing went kind of according to plan for a Game 7 with James Harden. We'll see what happens with New York. I understand there's going to be some length against Donovan Mitchell for sure. Harden's going to have to do something. If it's going to be Sam Merrill again, if it's going to be whoever but the nice thing that I like anyway, when it comes down to matchup wise, is that if Game 7 Jared Allen shows up, Karl Anthony Towns is not going to really know what to do defensively.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
We're looking for somebody who's going to help out Mitchell when it comes down to getting doubled or getting isolated defensively. It might end up being Jared Allen, if the Cavaliers are going to win this series against New York, which is, I cannot believe I'm saying that, it's going to have to be another Jared Allen coming out party. This is going to, like, this run, I hate to say it, and Harden's probably going to have a game or two. I understand it. But this is going to be Jared Allen's ship to steer. I think this team is only going to go as far as that presence down the line or underneath the hoop. The one nice thing, and I will, I guess, say this with New York in mind, New York hasn't played in, 8 days, 9 days? Like I heard Josh Hart on a podcast bitching about that. And we've had to deal with that as Cavs fans with LeBron being – I remember a few years we would just sweep the first and second round and we'd be sitting around for a week and a half waiting for something to happen.
Right.
So at least the Cavaliers, I understand you can say they're tired, but you can also say they're in rhythm and they're hot. And I know you can say that the Knicks are rested, but you can also say that they're rusty. So if the Cavaliers are going to have to do any, or if they're going to do any damage in this series, they don't really get an off day. They got to do something game one in Madison Square Garden. That's going to be their upper hand game.
And they could do that. And real quick to your point, Game 4, the last time the Knicks played against the Sixers and blew them out, that was last Sunday. Mm-hmm. That was last Sunday afternoon. That was a sweep. And then the Knicks were the only team in the Eastern Conference that made the second round, that did not, have a, sweep or go to Game 7 in the first round. So the Knicks, they're rested. But, Rob, to your point, I think they will be – it's very obvious they could be rusty. And to top that off, too, I think this is an interesting stat as well. The last time the Cavaliers had 2 consecutive off days was between Games 4 and Game 5 of the Toronto series back on April 27th and April 28th. And this conference final schedule, just like this series, every other day. There is no rest. But as far as momentum, Jared Allen, I know we got a break here in just a second. I think this entire playoffs, for the most part, since I would say Game 6 of the Toronto series, I think Jared Allen's been outstanding.
Well, remember, Game 6 of just 2 days ago, he had a very meek, 9 points and 6 – like I told you, like that's what I'm saying. When Jared Allen doesn't look right, the Cavs don't look right.
No, and I know making the main headline about Jared Allen is not sexy. I get it. Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and even Evan Mobley are bigger box office storylines. But this team does go as far as Jared Allen goes. You get 2 dominant Game 7s from Jared Allen. We had 2 dominant Game 7 wins. I don't think that's an accident. I think Jared Allen, his aggressiveness shows on both sides of the floor.
Yeah, and I'll say this real quickly before we go to break. I think it's also bigger than Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, right? Because I think they both have had games where, like, damn, okay, you guys are really playing well. And yes, Jared Allen in these Game 7s has been incredible, double A. I think it's really – the Cavaliers have really identified who they are as a team offensively. And they've showed it at points in time, especially after the James Harden trade. But it's that pick and roll. That pick and roll creates so much movement for the Cavaliers. They, at times during this playoff run, have got away from that. Kenny Atkins has even talked about how they try to get Donovan in rhythm, and they got to get the ball moving. And that's where they were finding their most success during the regular season. They went away from it. You saw these step backs from Donovan. You saw these just kind of lame duck possessions by the Cavaliers, where it was ISO ball, not a lot of ball movement. Somebody catches it down low, panic, turnover, and rinse and repeat. They have been moving the ball, especially tonight. But they've really brought that pick and roll back. And whether it's Evan Mobley slamming it down, whether it's Jared Allen slamming it down, or those guys being well enough of passers and understanding where they're at on the floor to kick it out to Sam Merrill, Money Merrill, kick it out to Max Strus, kick it out to these guys. I think the pick and roll is truly the Cavaliers' identity. And yes, Jared Allen's the biggest cog in that type of identity, double A, because James Harden is most efficient when he's passing the ball to Jared Allen off the pick and roll. But I think Evan Mobley, you get these other guys, Dean Wade even benefits off of that. That pick and roll creates so much ball movement for those Cavaliers, these Cavaliers.
All righty. Well, we'll take a quick break here, actually, because we're going to keep the good times rolling. I know we had a little bit of a long first segment, but in our defense, this is the first time the Cavaliers have been in the conference finals in like 7 years. So, okay, cool. It is what it is. But some other stats for you, too. Ninth conference finals appearance for the Cavaliers overall. 3rd without LeBron James in the team's history. And I think that's why I'm a little proud. I'm a little happier than I think I normally would have been for this team, just because this, all of our success has been predicated on having the greatest basketball player on the planet on the roster. And this one was done without that. This one was done building a team. This one was done with drafting. This one was done with aggressive trades and moves in the front office. And, we didn't have the cheat code to beat this Contra game. We actually did it with 3 guys. So, yeah, we're going to keep on going here. Also, to the 31-point victory for your Cleveland Cavaliers, the 3rd largest road victory in a Game 7 in NBA history. A lot of good things to talk about. We're going to move on to New York. We're going to nitpick a little bit more on this team and just celebrate more with you guys. Thank you for joining us here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I am Rob Rozycki. We got Eli Moon. We got AA Anthony Alford. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Cavs win. Cavs win. No sleep till Brooklyn. Going to New York. Game 1 in 2 days. We will be right back.
Hey guys, Kyle here from Unfiltered. What a show today. Broke down, obviously, the situation with North Royalton, the officer that's suing the city, the former officer now. Crazy story involving the police department. Also, that plane crash in Akron. Unbelievable situation. Again, feel for the 2 pilots that lost their lives, the family able to get out of that house safely. Crazy to think about. Hey, on Monday, let's shift a little bit. Are we talking about the Cavs? Are they moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals? What's going on in the local news? You'll find out right here on Unfiltered, 5 o'clock Monday. I will see you then here on the Inside Edge Network. Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, W Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order W Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. W Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to sportsmemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. Sportsmemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
And welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Anthony Alford, Eli Moon, I'm Rob Rozycki. And spoiler alert, Kyle, he might be talking about the Cavaliers win. I know it was up in the air when he recorded the promo there, but a spoiler alert, I got a feeling Kyle's going to bring that up. But that's also what we're bringing up too. Cavaliers win 125-94, 31-point victory in Game 7 on the road after not winning their first 5 road games of the season. They have now won their last 2. I honestly didn't think, when we were starting, and we're going to grade out this with the big 4 here and some of these ancillary pieces, but of all the shows, when I woke up this morning that I thought we were going to do a 31-point ass whooping in Game 7 in our favor.
Yes.
Was not going to be it. And I think that just kind of shows we were as down could be after Game 6, and the highs and lows of an NBA playoff series. I think that just kind of shows us that just stay the course and keep the eye on the ball here, and maybe good things will happen. But I did not think we were going to be here talking about this one. Donovan Mitchell, the most complete game the Cavaliers have played all playoff run. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, from start to finish, and the start, like we needed a hot start, a commanding start, and he finally delivered.
Yeah, no, they definitely delivered, and it was just everybody getting going early. I mean, Donovan making sure he addressed the assist early. He had 3 assists, I think, in the first 3-4 minutes of the game. I mean,
one to Jay, one to Evan too, real quick.
Yeah, very active. Is averaging 3 assists, I believe. Stan Van Gundy has said during the broadcast during this series or during the postseason. So I mean, just very impressive for Donovan. Like I said, just very in control, like moving in slow mo. You see guys, and that's how their whole career they've operated. Donovan Mitchell just slowed down tonight in the best way possible, and it was the best thing he could have done. Here's the thing too. I mean, the Cavaliers are definitely hearing the noise. I mean, from obviously us here on the Inside Edge Network, from other media outlets, from fans, from everybody. I mean, Donovan Mitchell was being questioned as a leader, and these other guys were being questioned if they were going to have a spot on this team next year. I don't think that goes away just because they go to the Eastern Conference Finals. It gets easier to have a discussion about them tonight, and I'm excited. I will continue to preface that. But I think these guys understand that they are playing for the entire roster right now. If they don't get to where they're trying to get to, which I guess it depends on who you ask. Is this where they were trying to get to? Or are they trying to get to the finals? So, I think these guys truly do feel the pressure of this team will never look the same if they don't handle their business. And tonight they handled their business. So AA doesn't get the opportunity to go on a midnight run and yell for 45 minutes about who should be traded, and we're going to pull the trade machine up. We'll save that for another time.
We'll get LeBron talk going, baby.
But let's be real, guys. That definitely was in these guys' mind, in the chatter. I mean, going into this game this might be the last game as this roster is constructed currently. So I think that definitely played into it as well. And hopefully they play like that too. Hopefully they feel like their roster shakeup is on the line every game until they go to the finals. Because if they play like that tonight, There's no team in the Eastern Conference that can beat them, and they give OKC and San Antonio hell, whoever comes out of the West.
Well, what it does in the mind of Dan Gilbert, because obviously he was there and, the 25 buses full of fans and stuff, obviously he did not want to get embarrassed. So what at least this does to this point, it cracks the door open for this group to at least say, and the leadership of this group to say, hey, you know what? The core four only played 7 regular season games together. If we can get some kind of formula going, there is potential with this team. Obvious potential, but you could still go all the way. So, to Eli's point, job's not done. Please don't get swept. In the conference finals against the Knicks. Don't get swept. Look, be competitive. I do think if you win game 1, all bets are off, honestly, with this series, especially, again, where Jared Allen goes, this team goes. I really firmly believe that. But, this is one of those situations, guys, and Rob, this is – Dan Gilbert can look at this team, at least at this moment right here, right now, and say, we could do something with this group. We can't do something, but things have to go right.
Jobs were definitely saved today. I don't know whose were, and it could have been anybody. It could have been the ball boy. We remember Sam Merrill taking a face plant 2 games ago.
Yeah,
so,
that guy should be fired. I'm kidding. I don't know.
All the way
easy.
I'm sorry. I take that off the record.
He's got a bright future.
I know.
But he might have been up in the air if this series would have gone the wrong way. And, you could say the same thing about the coach, the GM, everybody on the roster. But what this team can say now, to Eli's point, is this where they want to be? Or do they want to win the finals? I think the answer is kind of yes on both, because what now Kobe, even if they do get swept and we might not want to hear it, but Kobe can say when the season ends that this team has gone further than any other incarnation of this team. We have augmented the coach. We have made a big move. We have helped out the roster. And this team did better than it has the last couple of years. We are moving in the right direction. So I think that's going to be what management – I'm not saying that'll be right or wrong. Again, 4 games at least have to be played. But I think that's what management will go to with – and again, the Kobe was very, very steadfast with keeping this 4 together when it was Darius Garland. He kept that going probably for about a year longer than a lot of people thought he should have. So, I think if he has the results with this roster, it'll, progressing further than the previous year, I think that'll be enough to save some. Now, who knows what Dan Gilbert thinks?
That's what I was about to say.
Because the one thing that they did save themselves with one of the things they did save themselves with this victory for was having a conference finals with 2 coaches the Cavaliers have fired 3 times. That doesn't have to happen now. And I think that would have been enough jet fuel to ignite some sort of change in Cavaliers' decision-making. But that, thank God we don't have to talk about that. And, we'll see what happens with New York. I think New York is beatable. I think we've been talking about a wide-open East all year for a reason. I know if you only watch us and maybe Stephen A. Smith, you think that the Knicks are the greatest team since, ever. I think, if you – you ask them. You ask the national media right now. The Knicks could have swept the 2015 Warriors in 4 games, but it is what it is. And I think that might actually help out. The idea is that now the Cavaliers, it feels like in a way that we're playing with house money. We're in uncharted territory. So
I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly. I said it on Midnight Run, and I'll say it here on Main Events for all of our audience that didn't catch the show on Friday. If the Cavaliers lose this series against the New York Knicks, heads will still roll, because the exact point you brought up, Dan Gilbert, and we have seen the investment Dan Gilbert has put in as an owner. We have talked about it on this show and across the network about how much he is willing to spend and continue to be patient as an owner. You see the extra effort he's putting in by loading these buses up of fans, season ticket holders, the employees, all the way down to guys that are working part-time. guys in, men and women that are working part-time at different positions in the arena, all out of that game today. Dan Gilbert believes this is the squad. He told Kobe Altman, let's go make this move. Didn't let him. He told him, let's go make this move. Let's go win a championship. So if you come up empty-handed, I truly believe there still will be a big shakeup on this roster. And that's just where I'm at with it. This New York series is just as important as Detroit. It's an accomplishment, yes. But the Cavs haven't played New York since 2023. This is the first time, we were actually heard on the postgame with Amazon Prime, that this is the first time that they'll play outside of the first round in the playoffs. This is such an important series. This is a measuring stick. Okay, you've had, 24, 25, 2 postseasons, and now this is your third to get ready for this type of test. The team that, like Double A alluded to in the first segment, Jared Allen saying the lights are too bright, and them getting bodied by the likes of Mitchell Robinson, not even Cat. This is going to be such an important series where if they don't win this series, we are still having the same discussion we were planning potentially for tonight. That's all I'm saying.
I don't like the idea of just saying win or lose of the series because, if we are talking about the Cavaliers exiting the playoffs in 2 weeks after another Game 7, everybody, then that's a little bit different than New York beating us by 25, 4 straight games and sweeping us out of the building. There's a lot that can happen. Guys get in foul trouble. Guys get injured. We've been very blessed the first 2 series, even though they have been scrappy 7-game affairs, both of them, that this team is still somehow, sorry about that, kick my table, somehow on, on the good side of the injury report. So there's a lot that can happen. I agree if it goes completely worst case scenario, we might be having these same discussions, but it all depends on how they lose that series or how they win that series. And really, for me, all of my questions are going to be answered after the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, I am not going to judge Kenny Atkinson and the roster construction of this team against the Oklahoma City Thunder right now, or against the 7'6" alien in San Antonio. These 2 teams have been the class of the league. I would say, okay, we need to make the roster better, but we don't need to blow it up. We don't need to fire anybody, but changes still might have to be made. But I'm not going to get incredibly pissed off if we somehow make the NBA Finals and it doesn't go our way.
Well, and that's not what I'm saying. Real quick, Double A, because I'm curious to hear your thoughts. But real quick, Rob, I'm not saying that. NBA Finals is a completely different discussion. I'm talking this series against the New York Knicks. If they don't win the series, and this is my opinion, this isn't anybody else reflective of the show, but my opinion is they lose this series, there will be at least 2 big moves this offseason, whether it's Mobley and Mitchell, whether it's Mobley and Allen, whether it's Harden doesn't get this extension that we're hearing reports of, that he might get a multi-year extension regardless. A lot will change. I'm so confident in that. And obviously I'm rooting for the Cavs. I'm a Cavs fan. I want to see them get back to the finals, their first one since 2018. But this is such an important series, and I don't think it's, okay, now we can just, whatever happens, and we'll just run it back next year. That's Double A, to your point, and I keep alluding to Midnight Run because you had some strong points this week, pal. I'll tell you. And if people aren't checking it out, they need to check it out weeknights here on the Inside Edge Network. But I'll tell you this, Double A.
Come on.
Midnight. So, sometimes 12 or 2. It depends. But I'll tell you this, pal. You made a great point this past week, and I want to ask you, what do the Cavs do if they come up empty-handed in the Eastern Conference? Because the Eastern Conference, as you alluded to, we've talked about, is going to be much stronger next year. Tyrese Halliburton back from injury. The Pacers obviously added Ivica Zubac, so they're going to be a team that makes some noise. Washington Wizards adding a number 1 overall pick with Anthony Davis and Trae Young. Boston will be back, regardless of if they retool or run it back.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Boston. Joe Mazzulla still can't coach.
I mean, he has an NBA championship, something the Cavaliers.
Yeah, because they won a 3-point shooting contest one year. Great. Good job.
They are searching for something that Joe Mazzulla and Boston Celtics have. And my point stands that this is going to be a much tougher Eastern Conference. So how can the Cavaliers, if they don't get it done against the New York Knicks, which we can now talk about since they handled their business tonight, how can you look at this team if you're Dan Gilbert and go, let's run it back?
So to answer that question, since the show the other day, we got new information. And over the weekend, actually today, I'm seeing reports that they're working on a new deal with James Harden, that they're working on potentially working on a new deal with Donovan Mitchell. So it seems to me that Dan Gilbert, honestly, it's going to depend on how Dan Gilbert feels, which is completely different from how I would feel, because right. I don't know if Dan Gilbert wants to go in deep down, I don't know if Dan Gilbert will want to go through a whole nother rebuild because health-wise, where is he?
And he's not, he it's been 15 years with him. He's not the youngest owner in the league anymore. I mean, Double A, that's a great point. Yeah. Do you want to go back and rehash this thing for another 7 or 8 year cycle that may or may not pay off?
Because I think, again, this is separate from what I would want as a fan. I think as a fan, if it's clear that you are not in the neighborhood of a championship contending team, then you got to have a tough conversation. But the conversation is different now because you are in the Eastern Conference Finals. You're in the Final Four. So the conversation is different. And they dominated the top seed tonight. So the conversation is a bit different. I will say that. But I think in terms of health, because I look at Utah, they're still on the rebuilding plan post Donovan Mitchell. That's going on 4 years. So I go to the theory of let's say it's obvious that this team is not where it needs to be in terms of championship contention. And let's say they lose out on Giannis, they lose out on LeBron, they don't get any big name free agents, and you run it back basically. Would Dan Gilbert prefer to run it back and Kobe Altman run it back as is, almost kind of like the Guardians? Put out a competitive team, a team that's going to be at the top of the standings and contend in the playoffs every single year and give it a shot? Or does Dan Gilbert want to start from scratch if he has to? And based on the reports that I've been seeing over the weekend, deep down, I don't think Dan Gilbert wants to start from scratch, but I'm not going to rule out him not doing so. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I was going to say changes could be made, but starting from scratch would also entail firing Kobe Altman and hiring a replacement.
Well, I'm not suggesting start from scratch. Let's be clear that I'm saying retool. The Cavaliers have enough assets where they could retool. And I think there's also Dan Gilbert deep down. He's never going to admit it, but he wants his legacy to be deeper than just LeBron. His whole tenure has been tied to LeBron for the majority of it.
That's 100% true.
I told you, the old Contra cheat code. Yeah, you get the 30 guys or whatever like that with the special code and you can beat the game, but that's LeBron. To win an NBA title, to do it the old-fashioned way, I think, Dan Gilbert wants to be known as a team builder and as somebody who could do it in multiple different ways.
But I think to that point, though, Eli, since you brought it up, both of you, he wants to be tied into a team builder. He wants to prove that he could do this without LeBron. So in my mind, he doesn't want. Yes, they're open to LeBron. It would be bad business not to entertain it. But in deep down his soul, he doesn't want LeBron coming in here to be perceived as the savior of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Rob.
That's what would have. I mean, the script has changed with that. If LeBron were to come in here, I mean, again, you're talking about a team now that we can say it has made the Eastern Conference Finals, that has done some winning on their own, that has some very talented players in their own right. This is not the corpse of the franchise he left, back 15 years ago to go to Miami. That was just a bunch of guys and Kyrie Irving. So, and it's also not 27-year-old LeBron coming in. It's 42, 43-year-old LeBron coming in. It's a difference. It's kind of the same thing that he's playing with the Lakers right now. He's not the guy there anymore. It's Luka's team. He's going to have to come into Cleveland and understand that in a lot of ways, he's going to be playing the same role with this team that Dean Wade and Sam Merrill have been playing. He will be the one starting instead of Max Strus. He will be the off-ball threat that he was with Luka for the Lakers. And I think with that also comes, bro, you're not going to take your entire entourage in here and tell us who you're going to want to have and have your opinions on the coaching staff and everything from the practice schedule down to the, what they're serving in the cafeteria. He is not going to be that guy. And if he does come in, he's going to have to just be another aging Hall of Famer to go next to James Harden on this roster.
Well, I think that's just honestly a little silly because if you saw LeBron in his postseason, I'll be clear. I don't think Dan Gilbert wants LeBron James back. But if we've seen anything from LeBron's postseason, he basically did anything he could to drag the Los Angeles Lakers to the second round. So I think an aging Hall of Famer, it's a little different. This isn't Vince Carter sitting on the end of the bench or Tracy McGrady at the end of their career. This is completely different. And I'm not saying you're necessarily saying that, Rob, but two things. I don't think LeBron James is going to be in the Cavaliers' future. But I also think what can be true is if the Cavaliers aren't content and Dan Gilbert isn't content, if the Cavs lose, which obviously we're hoping they win. We're hoping we can celebrate here to the end of June and have a parade and cover it and do all that fun stuff. But let's be real. If they don't get it done, Dan Gilbert's going to look at this team and want to make changes because they have enough assets to retool. And the idea that LeBron is the only person, the only player that can impact this team, that's not the case. There's going to be a lot of guys on the move. I truly feel that this NBA offseason, keep an eye out for, and we don't have to argue if you want them or not right now, but talent-wise, Giannis is going to be available. Jaylen Brown's going to be available. That's a strong feeling I have is Jaylen Brown will be available. Some of these other guys will be available, and the Cavs can get better. So I hear the talk about the extensions. I've seen it, obviously. My thing about that, too, is guys have got signed to extensions before and been moved. It just makes it a little bit easier for the other team if they have Donovan now inked up for 3-4 years to make a move. They don't have to worry about signing him on a contract year. So I don't think that necessarily means that the Cavs are in the clear and that they're going to run this iteration back. I think that just means they're covering their ass in case they can't, to your point, go get one of these guys. They get, in trade discussions, Boston beats them or whoever beats them for Giannis, whatever.
My last point is this, though. There was a lot of storylines a lot of discussions and a lot of things that were in Dan Gilbert's mind, probably when he woke up this morning, about what would have happened if they would have lost the game tonight. Or what would have happened if it was a really close game and maybe if they would have lost. I think these conversations were entertained. I think on this night, after putting up, 30-plus points against the top seed in the NBA's Eastern Conference, this tonight was the biggest win in the Donovan Mitchell era.
This was the biggest win they've had since they hoisted the Larry O'Brien trophy.
This is tonight. If you're talking about non-LeBron James related victories, I'm not saying it's number one, but it's top five.
I am. I would actually say that probably Game 5 and Game 7 are the number one and number two.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that in respect to the late '80s teams. I'm just saying that in respect.
Okay. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I forgot about. Okay, I thought you were just talking since.
But you know what?
Yeah.
All time, non-LeBron, these guys, the front office is at an all-time high right now. Because if we are perceiving that this team is led by, I would say, B-plus players, which I've been consistent in saying, the fact that they KO'd with haymakers, the number one seed in their building tonight, where Dan Gilbert does business. And he took fans here, brought them to their city, and kicked their ass. I think they're perfectly fine with giving it their go with the team that they have right now.
Do you think we'll be able to take the buses to New York, too? I know it's a longer commute.
It's a pain in the ass drive. You got to go through Pennsylvania and get stuck in the woods.
Oh, believe me, I know about driving through PA. And also, too, do you really think that Dan Gilbert's got money, but do you really think he's got 300 MSG playoff ticket money?
I don't know.
I've seen the face value on some of that shit.
Yeah.
Real quick, we had this question 10 years ago with the World Series.
Yeah.
With all the Cubs fans that somehow got tickets for Game 7 of Cubs Indians. How in the world did Detroit allow Dan Gilbert, the Pistons, allow Dan Gilbert to buy all of those tickets?
I think it might have been kind of like the same way how Walt Disney got the land for Disney World. Walt set up about 35 different shell companies, and each kind of bought a few acres in Orlando in that area. And no one realized that it was one guy who was buying all of these parcels of land up until it was far too late and the happiest place on earth was born. I wouldn't be shocked if everybody in the Cavs ticket office on their StubHub account or whatever bought 4 of these things on the company card. I'm sure there are ways, but and that's also maybe something we can hit on later in the show. I know after Boston beat Philadelphia in 4, what Josh Hart was saying that Philly used to be a sports town and kind of or no, it was Jaylen Brown or whoever was talking about it, saying that Philly used to be a sports town and was kind of dogging the fans for selling tickets. I kind of had an interesting take on that. I was looking at it saying, dude, these ducats now are worth $1,000 a pop in some cases. We're dealing with a pretty hard economy. I am a Guardians fan and I am a Cavaliers fan, but if I had tickets to a World Series game and somebody offered me $3,000 for the set of 2, I know I'm a huge fan, but I also know that I have TV at home. So, yeah, I mean, like, it was just a little bit of a, I think just kind of like let them eat cake moment, but it is what it is. I digress long enough. Let's take a break. We'll have more Cavs and Pistons reaction here. Cavaliers win 125-94. 4 Cavaliers in double figures, or I'm sorry, over 20 points. Yes, not just double figures, but over 20 points. Cavaliers advanced to their first Eastern Conference Finals since 2018, the first one without LeBron since 1993. And I am the only one of the 3 of us who can actually remember that one happening. So good job, the Cavaliers. They did it without the chosen one for once, but we'll keep on talking about it. This is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We got Eli Moot. We got Anthony Alford. I'm Rob Rozycki, and we'll be right back.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick. With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh. I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by InsideEdge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MosserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Honestly, I don't think anything's changed. I think I've been the same guy. I think as a leader, I've definitely grown, but, it's just about circumstance. And everybody on that couch, you guys know, sometimes it's just not your time. You could do everything you want to do, and sometimes whether, I've been close and then I had an ankle injury. So I've been close and we failed, right? There's so many things. Sometimes you just got to continue to fight. And I said it after we lost against Indiana, what are we going to do, quit? No, even if we had lost tonight, we're going to come back again next year. So the biggest thing was just continue to understand to keep trusting the process and trust the work, right? And I work hard. We work hard as a group. And understand at some point you're going to push through. But definitely a mental test. 2 game sevens back-to-back definitely is a mental test. But, that's why you put the work in. Understand that, we got here, but we didn't just get here to be here. We're not going to be in New York just happy, that we got here. At the end of the day, they've been off for 3 weeks, it feels like. So for us, we got to understand they're going to be rested. We got to come in and continue the momentum, go from there.
That was Donovan Mitchell. Credit to Amazon Prime Video. By the way, we'll get into the Cavs in a second here. Obviously, 125-94 winners. They're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I just want to give a shout out to Stan Van Gundy. I know we've been talking about his analysis the last couple of segments here. I think for my money, he's pound for pound the best courtside analyst here in the NBA.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I want to know if I'd say the best. There's pretty good ones but he's definitely entertaining. He had me laughing during the game. I shouldn't be laughing during a game 7, but here I was laughing during a game 7. I think Stan Van's cool. I don't know about best. He definitely had some moments where I was like, Stan Van, shut up. Shut up. But there was also moments where I was like, all right, that was pretty funny. So Papa Moon, not a big fan. He
was better than whatever the hell what was happening on Friday. And
yeah, okay, fair.
And I hate to say that about Candace Parker and D Wade because those are two of some of my favorite players watching play. While they were playing in the league. But at least tonight we had actual analysis, actual X's and O's on the national broadcast, and things like that. And we get the ESPN team for the Eastern Conference Finals. So.
I'm still trying to get a game time on that one. I don't know if they've announced a game.
They have not. It should be 8:00, but
I'm thinking it's going to be 7 or 8. Yeah. It's weird. Yeah, we're now in the territory where we're not competing with any other NBA games happening right now. It's just going to be us ping ponging between the East and the West now for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, and it's going to be weird too with the Cavs, and Knicks.
8:00. It's official. 8:00 Tuesday.
Okay.
ESPN.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we'll get the ESPN crew for that one, and it's going to be weird because I know the Knicks are involved and they're a lightning rod. We were making fun of Stephen A. Smith and everything like that with the national media love for the Knicks. But I think this Eastern Conference Finals is going to take a back seat in a lot of ways to what's happening out west. You have the matchup that everybody wanted when the season started, basically out there. The Thunder and the Spurs playing, and I think a lot of people are kind of just saying to themselves that that's the de facto NBA championship happening out there. So at least the Cavaliers playing in Madison Square Garden in 2 days is going to be about the most under the radar it possibly can be.
Yeah,
that was the one point I wanted to make real quick while you guys were going back and forth. It was good stuff, but the one point I wanted to make in terms of the national media, I don't know if there's going to be a single national media person on ESPN that will pick the Cavaliers to win this series. A lot of it is going to be Stephen A. I mean, we all know how
Perk's going to
know how first take's going to go.
Perk's going to sit up there looking like he's running for office. They're like, "Hi, I'm Kendrick Perkins. Vote for me for school board and Cavs in 7."
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't know, man. That's why I'm looking ahead, and I'm like, look, the job's not done, so this roster hopefully doesn't get comfortable because it's still a big deal. Yes, this is probably out of the 2 conference finals the least talked about, which is crazy to consider with the Mecca, Madison Square Garden, all that. But best believe after game 1, it will be the first talk on First Take, especially being a standalone game. There's no more games to hide around. This isn't you lose at 7 o'clock and it's old news by 10:30 because San Antonio played. No, it's you got to go out and win, or you're going to be the talk of the entire morning the next day. And I think that's going to be pretty big for the Cavaliers in terms of staying locked in, blocking out the outside noise, or listening to the outside noise, I guess. I mean, maybe they did for game 7, and maybe that's what helped. So whatever helps you, do it. But this is going to be pretty important when they step into MSG. It's just because of how big this Western Conference Finals is, nobody's really paying too much mind to teams when in reality a lot of people thought Boston would be here. Boston or one of these teams, maybe even Detroit, they thought one of these teams would be here, and it's New York and Cleveland. And I think a lot of people are just like, it's not as sexy as OKC San Antonio.
I don't know. I think I get it in terms of there's strong perception that whoever wins the West are going to be flat out odds-on favorite to win the title. I get all that, but I will say this: the fact that our series is on ESPN, so at least in terms of marketing, people are going to know where to watch our games. So you will have that. New York's involved, with the Knicks, and I'll be honest too. In terms of the reputation of the Cavaliers, it all started from 2023 against the New York Knicks. Like I mentioned in the open, it almost is full circle now with Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley, those 3 in particular. Like, this is full circle now on a local standpoint. And Donovan Mitchell, being from New York, he understands, he doesn't know about pressure. Hopefully that changed tonight. I think it did. But he understands what it takes to play in New York City. Growing up as a Knicks fan, he knows what it is. Like, this is going to be huge.
Yeah, and that's why I think, Rob, real quick, that's why I think this is a full circle moment for the Cavaliers. And that's why I said, in the first 2 segments, I was very strong on this is going to be a get it done or see you later to a few of these guys we've got used to being one of the favorites on these teams in the core 4 and all that. This is full circle. This is 3 postseasons later. Are you going to be able to beat the New York Knicks, a team that, besides Boston, is the team that has really been the thorn in your side? And you've literally prepped your team to be able to beat one of these 2 squads. So that, to your point, AA, helps my point that because of how big of a series this is for the Cavs and a swing full circle moment, if they can't get it done full circle, they've made additions, they've made subtractions, they've made the moves, they feel like this is the team, then yeah, I mean, I'll continue to say it. This is a super important series for this Cavaliers roster. Again, they should actively play like this roster construction could change like this if they lose this series. So I agree with you. I think it's a big series, but I just think as opposed to the other series in San Antonio and OKC and all the glitz and glamour, I think the Cavs benefit a little bit from that, but it's still a big series.
Oh yeah, it's Eastern Conference Finals. It's a big series.
Yeah.
But I think what the frustrating thing with this team has been the last couple of years has been, them tightening up in the playoffs and them kind of, freezing in the moment and, the moment being too big for them. I think a lot of people do say that. We saw in game 5 and in game 7, we'll just ignore the complete tomato can that was game 6. We've seen them now play like it was the regular season. We have seen them loosen up, like go back to what Donovan said coming into the break here, getting over the hump. And I think that's why I was so disappointed after game 6 was that I thought all of that stuff was kind of in the past. The Cavaliers are the only team left. I think really the only team, out of the top 6 or 7 teams in the league, that we have to play the game of, okay, what does the first quarter look like? Are they tight? Is it happening? Is it, are they themselves? Okay, they're not. Oh shit, we're going to lose tonight. We're the only team left that we have that has to play that game. New York doesn't play that game. The two Western Conference teams don't play that game. And hopefully Donovan is right saying getting over the hump by having this team do what it has been capable of doing in the playoffs now. I mean, Jared Allen has had games like this before in the regular season, too many to count. Donovan Mitchell has taken over games like that in the regular season. Again, way too many to count. Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year, a good scorer in his own right. That disappeared in the playoffs too. All of that stuff showed up. You had some bench help with Sam Merrill hitting some threes. You had everything, all the good characteristics of this team, minus James Harden, show up in the playoffs when it mattered. And getting over the hump and finally putting the second round in the rearview mirror and worrying about the Eastern Conference Finals, hopefully with this team it'll be cathartic, and hopefully they'll be able to show up in New York and not play stanky leg offense and just watch James Harden dribble the ball out for 3/4 of the game, or Evan Mobley getting dominated underneath, or Jared Allen getting dominated underneath. Hopefully we won't have to see that rendition of the Cavaliers, at least for an entire game, for the rest of this playoffs. Now, what with New York, it's going to have its own test of challenges, but I think the Cavaliers have gotten over that hump, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens at MSG in Game 1.
But that also goes to show you why some people tonight are a bit frustrated with the Cavs, even though they won.
Oh yeah, I'm still a little frustrated with them,
because
sure.
Honestly, their DNA is we don't know what to expect from them on a night in, night out basis. And I know a lot of people, and admittedly, I watch it this way too. And again, I'm doing my best to be positive because of the result of today's game. But yes, there is a strong part of me that's like, where the hell was that on Friday night? Where the hell was this effort, from some of the other games? And you're just thinking up the joint. And then today, you could do that? Like tonight, the Cavs legitimately looked like a championship contending team. But on Friday night, they look. The worst part about this, Rob and Eli, when they lose and when they're told, like, okay, if you're told you're soft, you're told you're not mentally tough, you're told this and that and this and that, usually you're gonna fight back. You're like, what are you talking about? No, this is what we do. These guys, when they're told that they're soft, okay. That's fine.
Well, yeah, I told you the line that I heard
this
of.
This is all fans, Rob.
The most appropriately named team in the league, the Cavaliers. If it, just kind of that sense of urgency. Udonis Haslem after last, Game 6, doing a big rant on accountability. And that's not something you should be talking about in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference second round here. So, yeah, I mean, it is something that is going to have to – we're going to have to see it 2 games in a row. And, to Eli's point about this being a big series, that's where this team is at right now with this reputation, with this baggage that they do carry around. And, again, to Eli's point, too, it's going to be a nationally televised game. There's going to be no other NBA talk to have on Wednesday morning than Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. So this stuff is going to have to be addressed and it will be magnified, but they're going to have to do this, multiple games in a row, and they're going to have to make this the normal as opposed to a very pleasant surprise. And, that's, with how big this series is. If you win Game 1 in MSG, okay, what are you going to do Game 2? Okay, if you lose Game 2, we're going to talk about you being soft again. Going back to Cleveland, all this stuff is going to go away if they lay an egg in Madison Square Garden Game 1. All of this positive talk, all of this stuff on ESPN about getting over the hump and Donovan Mitchell's quotes about that kind of stuff, that will all go away if they go up and lose by 25 to the Knicks in Game 1.
Yeah, and that's why they're not in the clear. That's why this roster is not in the clear, and I continue to stress it. They are not in the clear. They have to win this series against New York. It is not a congratulations, you got to the Eastern Conference Finals. We will extend all of you in the offseason. We will give you all the money. Like Dan Housen said, all the human monies. We'll give you all the, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. I mean, I know guys, we've all been talking sports for a good portion of our lives. We've done this show 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago. We know the type of owner Dan Gilbert is. He doesn't play games about getting to a championship. And yes, I get he's getting older.
I was going to say, he's also settled down with age, too. I mean, this isn't the guy who's typing Comic Sans letters out anymore.
But he still has that fiery passion to win. He's not just sitting back and going, okay, if fans can make it, they can make it. He is leading the charge, taking bus loads of fans to Detroit, doing all of that. I mean, this guy wants to win. The Cavs have enough assets where they could retool and make it work if they don't win this series. So I'm going to stand on it. That's my stance, that this roster will look different still if they don't get to the finals. If they get to the finals, then they will ease my mind. I will go, you know what? I'm okay. Just make some additions, try to strengthen the team, maybe get James Harden on the next flight out of Cleveland and figure out what we have to give up to get him out of here. But that's where I would be at if it's the finals. But not the Eastern Conference Finals, man. Sorry, you want to at least be on the podium, right? You want to be first or second. Come on.
I do.
I mean, if this was the Olympics, if we lost the Eastern Conference Finals, we would be playing the bronze medal match. But
but they'd probably lose that too. They probably lose that too if they lost the Eastern Conference Finals.
Let's be real. Probably give that up. We do need one thing to happen. We do need one thing. It just popped in my head, but this has to happen. Anybody out there who's a wrestling fan, you know where I'm going with this. Danhausen needs to curse the New York Knicks again.
Dude, it's $250 on Cameo, man. If we all come together,
we might have to reach out to our audience and
talk to Pete, see if that's in the budget there on that one here.
I
don't know if he's going to be in the mood for that because you know where he's from, right?
Where is he from? I don't know.
He is from Wayne County, Michigan. He is from Detroit.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, but he
actually, in a roundabout way, I remember around WrestleMania, he actually cursed the Cavaliers in a roundabout way because he cursed all of Detroit's Pistons, Lions, Red Wings, Tigers opponents. So technically, he already kind of has cursed the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, but I think him and Stephen A.
Yeah,
I mean, him and Stephen A. hate each other. That's real beef right there. You want to
that
talk
should have
about
been his mystery partner, dude.
I
would have watched that match.
We're not going to disrespect Minihausen. He did a fantastic job.
Oh, no disrespect to Minihausen, or all 7 of them or whatever.
That's right. That's right. You watch out. You watch out. Look, hey, those guys might need jobs. The Cleveland Browns might have some opening at wide receiver, so they might be able to try some of those guys out. I mean, let's see what we got.
The old Mike Leach story. You ever hear the old Mike Leach story? The old Texas A&M Washington State head coach. He actually asked one of his assistants if he could put a little person on scholarship for 3rd and 4th and shorts. So, no pun intended. When they would snap the ball, they would give the little person the ball, and then And the assistant coach apparently couldn't come up with a reason why that was a bad idea or why it was against the rules. They could go with 1,000 reasons why it was a bad idea, but there was apparently nothing in the rules against that.
Hey, they would make that a blitz package. Make that a blitz package. You get those mini houses off the edge.
I think with the study of CTE over the last 10 to 15 years, they're not going to allow any of what we just talked about.
Hey, you know what they say in football, right? On the line, low man wins.
That's right.
Yeah, but not little man wins, low man. So if a little man's
he's lower. Eli, he's lower.
No, it's just how he's built. He's not getting low.
That should be a penalty against him. That should
not Jerome Bettis was built low to the ground. It wasn't a penalty against him.
Jerome Bettis is built a little differently than Minihausen.
I mean, that's
okay.
I mean, Jerome Bettis, one thigh could do the job.
One thigh is 3 Minihausens.
I mean, he was putting in power. He's putting in work. All I'm saying is this. All we need is Stephen A to slip up one time. We just need Danhausen to roll up to first take and then do what he does. And if this happens, we're going to sweep the Knicks. We're going to the finals.
And I'll say this too, Rob. I know you love our wrestling talks. It throws you back to 11 years ago. But,
I can handle it. You're good.
I'll tell you this. There's rumors, and AA is more in the know about, obviously, the wrestling world than me. I kind of just get my highlights through Twitter and all that fun jazz. But if you want good wrestling breakdown, of course, you go to AA Anthony Alford and Kyle Cornell, Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast here on the Inside Edge Network. I'll say this, though, guys. I'm thinking now. Now my big brain Eli here for a moment. Okay, he's creating another creation, Danhausen, right? and it's supposed to be a larger than life. What if Jared Allen crosses over like Dennis Rodman did WCW style, and we got Danhausen and Jared Allen, and therefore he couldn't curse us if he's teaming up with Jared Allen on Monday nights on the off nights. Why? All right, that's my
I
rap.
swear to God, if I see Jared Allen at Monday Night Raw the night before he's got to play Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm throwing shit.
But if it's Danhausen's partner,
I'm throwing shit.
but it would be to get the curse. All right, back to you.
Dude, I would have the biggest meltdown.
It would be, we would do breaking news coverage.
No, it wouldn't be Bernie Kosar at the Exodus Pro event. Okay, that was fun to see. That would right now. Oh hell no! And you know what? Jared Allen, go out and get a few more 20 rebound games, and then we can start comparing it to Dennis Rodman. But I'm sorry, I'm dogging JA, even though he has no control over Eli's cockamamie scenario.
I just think it would be cool. All right, sometimes I think of cool ideas that probably wouldn't make sense logistically, and that was one of them. All right, every now and then they happen.
Dylan Brooks could do it. I think he would be fun.
We just need somebody to link up with Danhausen to get the Knicks curse. That's ultimately what we've gained from this segment. I think if we learned anything from this segment,
Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl Miller, by the way, his brother or his sister. Wow.
Straight. Yeah. Okay.
Try to make that double A. Where's the technical difficulty screen when I need it?
Yeah. Cheryl Miller, Hall of Famer, the sister of Reggie Miller. I forgot my point. Man, I screwed that up. Go to break.
Okay.
All right, Double A's going to take a penalty shot on that one. He's going to hit from the bunker.
I'm going to the penalty box. I don't know what that was.
All right, we'll take a quick break here because this is just completely devolved into idiocy and just general nonsense. But you know what? The Cavaliers are going to the Eastern Conference Finals, so I think we can have a little fun here for sure. 125-94 winners over the Detroit Pistons. Detroit going home. Actually, I just saw on SportsCenter, Cade Cunningham was doing his post-game remarks. Guess what he was wearing, gentlemen? What would you wear to a funeral? He had a black tie, black suit, black shirt. He looked impeccable. He looked like he was going to be a pallbearer for the Detroit Pistons season. And, yeah, they're going home. But, again, I don't want to, we'll make fun of them for sure. But in all seriousness, they had a hell of a season. You got to remember 2 years ago, they lost 27, 28 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They made the playoffs last year. They were in the they were a game away from the Eastern Conference Finals this year. And with Cade Cunningham for sure, I think it's something to say as a player. When 5 years ago your team was dog shit, you were the best player on the team, and then now 5 years later the team is no longer dog shit, and you're still the best player on that team. And I think that takes a lot of resiliency, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of development. And, he's going to be a pain in the Cavaliers' ass for a long time to come. I think this might just be the first one of these series that we're going to have to endure. So, JB versus Kenny is going to be probably another, 7-round series coming up next year and in the years to come. So, right now, screw next year. We got the Eastern Conference Finals to worry about. We'll take a quick break. We'll keep going on the Cavs. We'll move into some Guardians talk. They big winners this weekend. Winners of 2 out of 3 against Cincinnati. They have beaten those bastards from Kentucky and sent them back down south where they came from. And they also honored the 2016 team. That was something that, speaking of Eli talking about us doing this thing 10 years ago, one of the more formative events of our radio careers, of our podcasting careers, was that 2016 run, and the Cavaliers championship right before that one too, actually. So we'll talk about some Guardians. They got a new leadoff hitter, guys. Did you notice that one?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Yeah, Stephen Kwan's hitting 6 now. We'll get into that one. And the other Cavs question, speaking of lineups and questions I do want to pose to the group, we're talking about, a lot of Cavaliers dominant performances tonight. And one name really hasn't been mentioned much positively. Is it time to alter the starting lineup for the Cleveland Cavaliers? Maybe not just with Dean Wade for Max Strus, but maybe Jared Allen or maybe James Harden for somebody else. Is it time to maybe see if he wants to play off the bench in Madison Square Garden. We'll talk about that. We'll get into some news and notes, figure out what we've learned, and then get you going on your way. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We have Eli Moon over here. We have Double A over here. I am Rob Rozycki, and we will be right back.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Welcome back here to the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I am Rob Rozycki. We've got Eli Moon, AA Anthony Alford. Hour 2 of this extravaganza. We're about midway through the festivities here, still talking Cavaliers a little bit. 125-94 victors over the Detroit Pistons. They are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. First time since 2018, and LeBron was here. First time without LeBron since 1992, as the kids say, the late 1900s. This is the first time the Cavaliers have done this without LeBron. A lot of credit to go around, a lot of dominant performances tonight. Donovan Mitchell, 26 points. Jared Allen, 23 points. A great night for him. Another Game 7 monster performance. You had, Sam Merrill, 23 points off the bench. A lot of great performances tonight for the Cavaliers. One that wasn't, though, was James Harden. 2 for 10 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. He managed to get to the line a few times. It was 5 for 8 from the line. A very bad day for him, even from the charity stripe. Team leading 36 minutes. I think him and Donovan both played. Him and Evan both played about 36 minutes apiece. I understand that a lot of those minutes were probably because Donovan was in foul trouble for the majority of the second half there. But do the Cavaliers need – and I know this is kind of a delicate thing. I don't want to say we need to tinker with the starting lineup lightly. But do the Cavaliers think – do they need to make a change? Do they need to alter his minutes at least? Because 36 minutes – while not being all that efficient out there on the field, on the floor, I mean, yeah, he kept the turnovers down tonight, but most nights he doesn't. Do we need to take a look at maybe another backcourt mate for Donovan Mitchell in New York?
Yeah, I don't know who you would necessarily give the minutes to. I mean, I guess Dennis Schroeder, but he has also his tendencies to dribble the ball out of bounds and turn the ball over low time at costly times, and he's been efficient at times. But no, I think it's just on James Harden to step up. You're 36 years old. You're a 17-year pro. Play basketball like you do in the regular season and play basketball how we know you can play basketball at a high level. We get your 36 at this point, but at the same point in time, that's what it comes down to. I mean, because, again, the role players played out of their minds tonight. A lot of them played out of their minds. You're not going to get that every night. That's just – you can't expect that. You can't expect 20-plus from Sam Merrill as much as we want to see it. And these other guys having these big moments. That's why it is a talking point when we get on air and we go, wow, the role players played really well tonight. I think it comes down to James Harden. The Cavaliers were comfortable enough, and I was cool trading Darius Garland. Let me be clear. But the Cavs felt this was the move. This where the Darius Garland piece was going to be shipped over to James Harden. This is going to put us over the top because the discussion on the network here, on the Inside Edge Network and across all of Cleveland was this is the move. The Cavaliers feel this is the move to put them over the top. The right backcourt running mate, a guy that is going to distribute the ball, understands he wants to win. So if all that's true, then he needs to figure it out. I mean, I guess you can give 5-6 more minutes to Schroeder and maybe give Tyson a little bit more play, but Tyson's really not been involved in this rotation, this series. So I don't know how I feel about getting him back into the rotation just for the sake of James Harden isn't playing well. I think it falls more on, no, just figure it out, man. Like you are.
Well, I mean, you said
dropping
though,
the ball.
like he's been playing. He's had 17 different playoff runs now. This is what James Harden.
I think we may have lost everybody. All right. Yeah, I think we had lost her. I was wondering what was going on. Rob, I think we have you back here, pal.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. I was like midpoint. I'm looking around at my internet to see if all the moving pictures have stopped, but I think
thought you guys
it's
played
okay.
a prank on me. Yeah, I was like, hold on. They all pulled a prank on me. But yeah, no, we don't have AA yet, so it's just me and you, mano y mano for now.
Well, I digress for a half a second here. That's the trouble with all the stuff that we use to. It's great. But the one problem that we have when we're broadcasting like this is when the internet goes out for somebody, we're all trying to figure out if it was our problem or not. Like we're all sitting here for 3 hours trying to troubleshoot for everybody else, wondering
I was worried,
or if there's somebody else who's the asshole.
I was worried to jump out of the screen because I was like, if I leave and everybody else is gone, the stream's gonna end, and then the show's over. So I was like, maybe I'll just stay here and hold it down. And I was like, maybe it's not me. And then I just sat here and said hello to everybody for a minute out there watching. And shout out to everybody out there listening too and watching, because everybody stuck around for us. So hey,
hold on,
guys,
hold on, what happened? So my stream dropped. Was it the website? What happened?
I have no idea. I thought my internet
spinning.
went away, but none of my moving pictures did, so we're good. But
yeah, Rob was spinning. You started spinning. I felt like it was a bad prank on me. I feel like Chad was gonna pop up and just be like, "Ha ha, gotcha." And I mean, I don't know.
It'd be Kyle. Kyle's the asshole out of the group.
Yeah. I love you, Kyle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we love you.
So
but by the way, getting back to the point here for a half a second, I just saw opening line on the Eastern Conference Finals. The Cavaliers are 6.5-point road dogs.
I told you, nobody's going to pick. Nobody's going to. Real quick on the James Harden question. I don't want to get off track here. I think it would be worth entertaining if Donovan Mitchell was more consistent game to game. I think that's the problem. I think because James Harden was brought in to be a number 2 to Donovan Mitchell, but oftentimes the offenses had to run through James Harden because you don't know what you're going to get from Donovan Mitchell on a night in, night out basis. Like, okay, what he did today was fantastic. But what happens in game 1 if Donovan Mitchell is struggling offensively and he's not, providing assists or anything like that? He's scoring under 20. Then you have to Harden.
It almost happened tonight, though. I mean, thank God the Cavaliers were up by 25 points when all these problems were happening. But Donovan picked up his 5th foul with a couple minutes to go in the third quarter. And, the Cavaliers had to play basically without Mitchell. I honestly was surprised when I saw him get back in the game because by the time he got back, they were still up by 25. But if that lead wasn't there, that would have been what ultimately was a 2-for-10 James Harden as the de facto number 1, even if Donovan Mitchell was, shooting the lights out of the building. So, I mean, I guess the Cavaliers, it's like buying a boat. You got to know what you're signing up for, good and bad, with James Harden.
Yeah. I do like the lineup change. I did like, though, was moving Max Strus to the starting lineup. That was the late game adjustment, coming into game 7. You needed an extra shooter to spread out the defense. And really, it's good because where the Cavaliers have struggled has been getting out to big open leads throughout the entirety of these playoffs. So just having another shooter so you're not clamping down on Harden or Mitchell or anybody else, I think that's huge. And where Harden is important and where he plays at his best, which team are we going to see, right? The James Harden that operates the best here is when he's dishing it out to our front court, to Jared Allen, to Evan Mobley. So control those turnovers, be mindful. He's a 17-year veteran. Guys, he's a 17-year veteran, and I don't think he knows that there's 24 seconds in the shot clock.
Oh,
no, clearly.
Rule 7 of the NBA rule book.
Yeah, I mean,
been around since what? The Korean War. I think we should be able to handle this one, guys.
Yeah, I mean, he just has to step it up. I mean, this is a huge series for him. All the talk of, guess what? Donovan's now out of the second round. The big talk of Donovan Mitchell, I mean, everybody harping on him in the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of his career. Now his 9th year. He finally gets there out of the second round. Now the big talk, if he doesn't get out of the Eastern Conference Finals, is, he can't get to the finals. He'll have to battle that, and hopefully he can completely erase that thought from even being a thing, because maybe he can get to a finals his first time getting there. For James Harden, though, this is, bro, you've been the lead man in Houston. They brought you in Philly because they thought maybe you could be, one of those lead guys with Embiid. They brought you in LA to hopefully run with Kawhi, and Kawhi is a whole different discussion. But they brought you in all these different spots where you were supposed to be the guy. Brooklyn brought you in because you were the missing piece, and you just haven't done it. And we have embraced James Harden here in Cleveland. We have been like, you know what? And it's silly watching these games. Papa Moon and I were watching the game earlier. James Harden did the most ridiculous flop over getting his arm grabbed. And I just started laughing. I was like, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. And Papa's like, yeah, but you wouldn't like it if he was on another team. I was like, absolutely not.
No.
I've rooted against this my entire, like James Harden's entire career. But
For the
right
last
now,
16.5 years of my life, that was annoying.
but we are embracing it. And I think us embracing it, we've reached a point now where it's like, okay, but you're here to do a job. You are the get us over the hump, get us to the promised land. This is what James Harden's been brought in. It wasn't James Harden was available. He was, cut by a team and we picked him up for the vet minimum. No, to Double A's point, there's reports going around that the Cavs might ink him to a multi-year extension. I'll tell you this. He plays like shit in this conference finals. He can kiss any extension with the Cavaliers goodbye. So that's why, to my earlier point, Double A, to call back to earlier in the show, I think all this talk about extensions and everything goes up in the air if they look like shit against the New York Knicks.
But Mitchell has to be more consistent, because the one thing I will say, James Harden, I hate to say this, you kind of know what you're getting, with James Harden in most cases.
Buying a boat. Yeah.
In most
Good
cases,
and bad.
you know what you're getting. But I mean, we'll see. And my last point to what you guys were just talking about with the acting job, Stan Van Gundy, not a fan of the Cavaliers from the acting standpoint. I'm sitting here watching, and
I mean, the one that Harden got hitting the elbow and his head snapped back, that was a little over.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Dennis Schroeder got hit in the face, and it looked like he got shot like JFK in Dallas.
Schroeder's the one where if you're talking, because we were talking coming in, and we had Tim Alcorn and all of us on the network and at TAM, obviously, with Tim Alcorn. We talk about like a 9-10 man rotation coming into these playoffs, just because you're trying to figure things out. I don't think we're there anymore.
They played 8 before garbage time.
8.
It was 8 guys.
It might be 7. With these conference finals, because I don't know. I mean, Sam Merrill obviously is going to get time.
I think Struce going into the starting lineup, Double A. Not to interrupt. My apologies.
I'm curious to see if Jalen Tyson's going to get some run in this series. He didn't get a whole lot of run in Detroit. He didn't get really a whole lot of run against Toronto. I'm going to be kind of curious to see if he's going to figure out into this at all.
Well, my point was going to be that I think Sam Merrill is going to get more run. That's the guy. I mean, the guy got 25 minutes a night, or 23 or 25 minutes a night. He's going to be in a position where, with Max Strus going to the starting lineup, he's going to be the shooter that they need in the second unit. Him and Strus kind of run the same type of offense where, Strus moves a little bit better with the ball in his hands and can create a little bit more plays. But Sam Merrill's almost rendered useless offensively when he's not in position to be the three-point lethal shooter that he is. So that was a great point, Double A. I thought the Max Strus moving him into the starting lineup, okay, we have a shooter in the starting lineup. Now Dean Wade can play a little more free in that second unit, come in fresh, defend Cade Cunningham at very important moments of the game tonight, and it frees up a Sam Merrill. Money Merrill shooting the way he is. I mean, that's the guy. I mean, but look at some of these teams that have won championships. I mean, you look at Boston, that's the one that stands out the most to me. They had guys that could shoot the lights out, and that's what you're going to have to do. That is how you create these big runs. That's how you go up by 20 points, 25 points like they did tonight. Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, those guys created absolute nightmares for a lot of Eastern Conference teams, and the Cavs hopefully can do that with Strus in the starting lineup and then Merrill now in the second unit. I would love to see Tyson, though, Rob. I mean, I'm not going to shut it down, but he has not got any run basically since game 3 or 4 of the Toronto series. I mean, he really hasn't got, his minutes have gone down.
Well, actually, if you look even further back than that, he really suffered. He was the one who lost a lot of minutes when Strus came back in the first place,
right,
in the regular season.
Exactly.
So it's been basically, I think I said to Dennis Maniloff the other day, it's kind of like, buying a new tool for the garage and not knowing how to use it. I think, he's good, but I don't know if Kenny right now knows how to use that talent to help the team out in a impactful way.
In his spot duty, he's had issues even in this past series, coming in and immediately getting a tech and not producing on the floor, those kind of things. So yeah, I think to your guys' point, it's the playoffs. It happens when the lineup starts shrinking. You trying to find your spot. Tyson has been that odd man out. We'll see in the New York series if there is a matchup potential with Tyson that's worth exploring. But if it doesn't happen, then it is what it is.
Well, and we'll see if what they're going to do. And I like the idea of having Strus back there too. I know he's going to be playing more of a wing, more of a small forward kind of spot. But the one thing that they've always said about Jalen Brunson and the one knock on him about being the guy to win a title, he's a little point guard. If he were to win an NBA title in New York, I think the last one I could think of that was the guy on the team that was small like that was Isaiah Thomas back for the Bad Boy Pistons. AI never really won a title. A lot of these great, small guards never won a title. But I say that just to point out the fact that, this might be one of the few times that we'll have the size advantage in that spot. And if it is a Dennis Schroeder, I don't know if you do want to put Strus or Dean Wade or even Jalen Tyson on that. I think, that might be where he kind of falls into it if we're talking about some minutes for Tyson. But, we're going to have to find that one person who's going to make, or a group of people to make Jalen Brunson's life a living hell in New York.
Yeah, and my final point on that, I know we got to move on to a few other things, but my final point on that is if his offense isn't hitting, which it's been rough for Jalen Tyson, and I'm a big Jalen Tyson fan. He's one of my favorite players on the team. But if his offense isn't hitting, then unfortunately he just cannot get extended minutes in this series because the New York Knicks are very strong at the wing, a position the Cavaliers have struggled mightily at for the most part, addressing a true wing. And they've been good putting in, Dean Wade and making it work, and then Max Strus tonight. But they do not have the wings that the New York Knicks have. That is the one advantage the Knicks have over us in this series. They have OG Anunoby. They have Mikal Bridges. They have guys. I mean, Josh Hart can pretty much play every position 1 through 5 in that lineup. They have so many guys that are, first off, aggressive. Secondly, long and good defenders. And that's going to be where I mean, I guess the only way I'd see Tyson getting in, Rob, to your point, is if they found a matchup defensively and if his offense didn't hurt them. Because tonight, we were so surprised the Cavs got off to a great start like they did. We can't afford for Tyson to be in the first 8 to 10 minutes of the game, and we can't buy a bucket. And now we're down 8 to 10 in the Mecca, and now MSG's rocking, and we're getting ready for a postgame. Somebody here on the InsideEdge Network, and somebody's gonna freak out. That's where I'm at with that.
I've already understood too that Mitchell Robinson's going to win a game for New York against us, and we're going to absolutely hate life during that media cycle. But that's going to happen.
I will quickly mention this: we have done 2 Game 7 post games.
Hey,
we
we're
scheduled for a third.
No, please.
Is Game 7 on a Sunday?
On a Sunday night.
We won't need it. Somebody's winning this series instead.
Somehow. If the Cavaliers do somehow get to the NBA Finals, I think it's appropriate that they do play 21 games to get there.
You know what? I wonder.
Down.
Now it makes me think: do they just win it in 20?
We're in the Eastern Conference Finals, and our playoff record is 2 games over 500.
28 games played. If they go 7 the next 2 series and they win it all, when's the last time a team's won 4 Game 7s to win the NBA championship?
I don't think it's ever happened.
Yeah,
I don't
want more Game 7s.
I think the number is low for a team that has won 2 Game 7s in a playoff. It's happened, but not often.
Yeah, and I'm going to be, again, I know we hit it real quick, but I'm going to be curious to see if the Cavaliers are, what version are we going to see? Are they going to be tired and beaten and sluggish after a 7-game series? Or are they going to be the team that's in rhythm, has momentum, is used to playing every other day, as AA said, since the end of April? This team is used to playing, and the Knicks, they've been chilling out. They've been watching First Take. They've been doing shoot-arounds for the last, 8 or 9 days. So, it has happened before. I think even Stan Van Gundy addressed that. He's, where he was talking about the Thunder and the Spurs and the Cavaliers specifically, because the Thunder and Knicks have been sitting for so long that they might have that advantage rolling into Game 1, that, hey, we're used to going right now. We're used to moving around. You guys are used to getting room service.
Yeah, I can't be having Jared Allen telling the truth, though, in press conferences, though. Like, he was saying, like, oh, we're a little fatigued. Like, Jared Allen, I'm going to need you to start lying.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine with it, because I think one of the reasons why everything went well tonight was the miserable showing that we had in Game 6 and the fact that we were battered and beaten. I mean, like, I saw Cavs fans walking out of Rocket Arena like, you ever seen the scene in Band of Brothers where they're talking to the people that walked out of the Battle of the Bulge? Like, they're just like, completely lifeless faces and just wandering like zombies. I think that might have lulled. I'm not even kidding. That might have put Detroit in a false sense of security, where they were thinking that, oh, right, that was Cleveland's last stand, and that might be, it for the Cavaliers. So I don't mind Jared Allen setting the bar low. They just have to clear it.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And real quick, again, congrats. Shout out to Dan Gilbert. 25 buses he provided for the fans, season ticket holders, to go to Detroit and pack the house there. It felt like a Cleveland home game in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah. Did you guys notice the crowd was chanting "Let's go Cavs" while we were shooting free throws?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, and I hope, the hat is off to Dan Gilbert for sure. I mean, he's proven himself to be one of the more stable owners, one of the best owners in the sport. I know, we're not going to get into it, but, we're seeing a lot of stories from Portland and their new owner, all the stuff that's going on in Phoenix. There's a lot of teams right now that don't have, a fan first kind of way of looking at things, which the Cavaliers do. We are spoiled in this town, especially with the Guardians and the Cavaliers, where the stadium experience is so great and the ownership is great to the fans. But yeah, like, this is going to be, hat is off definitely to Dan Gilbert for making all of this happen. Because, yeah, they are one of the more stable franchises in the league now. And, this is one of the more professionally ran teams. People like to play here. People like to be fans. And we'll see if we can figure out a way to get any sort of home court advantage in Madison Square Garden. I don't even think the Cavaliers are stopping in Cleveland. I think they're flying right straight to New York for a landing tomorrow morning or even tonight. So, yeah, we'll see if we can get a few buses or a few plane rides over with the wine and gold faithful to screw up the New York Mecca experience.
Let's get it.
All right, this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Let's take a quick break. We got one more segment left, right, guys? Or am I miscounting that?
One to go.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk briefly about the Guardians. We'll get into what we've learned so far in this week. I know this show has been Cavalier dominated, as well as it should be. Cavaliers going to the Eastern Conference Finals, first time since 2018, first time without LeBron since 1992, as the Gen Zers say, the late 1900s. I think AA was 3 months old the last time this all happened. So it is a momentous occasion. Thank you for celebrating along with us. We will be right back. We'll talk some more Cleveland sports. We'll get it out of what we learned, and then hopefully we'll be able to get you started on your weekend on time. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We got Eli Moon. We got AA Anthony Alford. I'm Rob Rozycki, and we will be back.
Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Hey guys, Kyle here from Unfiltered. What a show today. Broke down, obviously, the situation with North Royalton, the officer that's suing the city, the former officer now. Crazy story involving the police department. Also, that plane crash in Akron. Unbelievable situation. Again, feel for the two pilots that lost their lives. The family able to get out of that house safely. Crazy to think about. Hey, on Monday, let's shift a little bit. Are we talking about the Cavs? Are they moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals? What's going on in the local news? You'll find out right here on Unfiltered, 5 o'clock Monday. I will see you then here on the Inside Edge. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to sportsmemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. Sportsmemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I am Rob Rozycki. We got AA Anthony Alford, Eli Moon. One more segment. I mean, how this is just awesome here. This, the sun was shining all day, 80 degrees. The Cavaliers win. I got Terry Funk and Junkyard Dog on my television set right now. I'm sitting here talking to my two buddies about a Cavaliers Eastern Conference Finals appearance. We are doing good, gentlemen. But yes, one more segment left. Do you want to talk more Cavs, or do we want to move to maybe some baseball or football? I know the Browns schedule came out. The Guardians won a couple of games. Let's go with the Browns schedule here. Do we have any sort of impressions here from the Browns schedule release on Thursday? I know we had a whole schedule release show and picking apart this whole thing that hasn't happened for 3 months yet. But yeah, any first impressions, guys?
Go ahead, AA.
I think for me, the game, obviously, that's going to be – we're talking about full circle moments, even with the Cavaliers, with the Cavs and Knicks. For the Browns, it's going to be that Week 2 game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Baker Mayfield. Like now, it could be Deshaun Watson going to Tampa Bay or Shedeur Sanders.
Well, it took 4 years for that rematch to happen, everybody. 4 years.
4 years. 4 years. Here we go. Like, I think that Week 2 game, I said it before, but I'll make it crystal clear. If Baker Mayfield and Tampa wins that game, like if Baker wins that game, Baker has a game-winning drive, does Baker Mayfield things early in the regular season, healthy Baker Mayfield. That's going to be a real problem for a lot of people here in Cleveland. So, in particular, I'm looking at that Week 2 Browns-Buccaneers game as, like, that's going to be a bloodbath among fans and local media.
Yeah, no, I would say Week 4 against the Steelers is the only primetime game they have. We don't know who will be the quarterback, to AA's point, after Week 2 or 3, depending on if Deshaun Watson starts and he looks like garbage, or if it is Shedeur Sanders, we just don't know. But one thing we know is they'll be in prime time. They'll be, I believe, at home against Pittsburgh Steelers at Thursday Night Football. So it's a big game because the Browns have an opportunity, depending what they do in that game and depending what they do leading up to it. I envision more so 1 and 2, where they can at least sneak out one of those games, whether it's against Carolina, whether it's against Tampa Bay, one of those first 3. I think they can maybe, in Jacksonville, obviously, as the opener, maybe they get one of those, but they could beat Pittsburgh and go to 2 and 2, and more than 2 and 2. And that creates at least some sort of discussion about the Browns. The national media obviously loves talking about first-year head coaches thriving. So if Todd Monken has his team even at 2-2 after a primetime football win against, yes, I know it's not as much of a rivalry as it once was, but if they have that win, I think there's a lot more pep in the step. And for a stretch after that for the Browns, where I think the Jets are going to play a lot better football this year. I said that during the schedule release show. I think they are going to play a lot better this year. I think they actually finished second in that division in the AFC East. But I think there's going to be an interesting swing here for the Browns going after that Pittsburgh Steelers game. If they can build momentum, that's what it's going to be.
Hold on.
What I say?
I'm calling a quick timeout. You have the Jets finishing second over who?
The Dolphins. The Dolphins and the Patriots.
Yeah. And the Pats?
Yeah. I think the Pats are a 4-6 win team this year.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
Well, I'll be honest. I wasn't the only one on the schedule release show. We had TK Dandridge, we had Omar Klossel, we had all the guys talking about it. Even Chad Bryan talking about the Patriots. I mean, there's a lot of noise, and yes, they've dealt well with scandals in the past. Not a scandal like this, though. This isn't deflating the footballs or spying on the opposing team. This is a little different bit of spying going on. And right now, the spying's on the Patriots because, you got the Mike Vrabel stuff. Everybody forgets the Stephon Diggs being in, court and being released, the crazy timing of them moving the court date till after the Super Bowl, mind you, but whatever. And then they release.
Great point.
Then they release them. They all this talk with AJ Brown if he's going to come here. I want to also remind people, even if AJ Brown goes there, AJ Brown is going to want the football 15 times. If he doesn't get it 15 times, he's going to be pissed, and he will let you know about it.
Books on the sideline and shit. Yeah.
So I just think you add that in. The Patriots are going to be garbage, I think, for lack of better words. 4-6 wins. They finish bottom dweller. They go from first and literally in the Super Bowl to the worst team in that division. The Dolphins will be all right. They re-sign Achane. I think they'll be all right, but I think they're the Dolphins, and they're going to try to figure it out. And they got Malik Willis at quarterback. There's a lot of questions there. Now, the Jets, this is like a return home for Geno Smith, fellas. This is Geno Smith got somewhere else, did all right for a minute, went to Vegas. Okay, after Seattle wasn't so great, but he's coming back home. And the one question the Jets have always had is, can our quarterback actually move the football down the field? They've had Justin Fields. They've had Zach Wilson. They've had a bunch of names. You give me all the, whatever about Geno Smith. He'll throw the ball to the other team. Sure, he'll a few.
But the league in interceptions last year.
But he's going to get the ball down the field. And that's something. He's going to at least give these Jets receivers a chance to catch the football, make some plays in space. Garrett Wilson. They have guys that they have actually invested in on offense. They just re-signed Breece Hall. Breece Hall was as good as gone in New York. As good as gone. And then he signed a 3-year deal to sign with them. So he obviously sees the vision that they're going with here. And that's just where I'm at. The Jets will win.
Your coaching staff.
Jets will win 9 or 10 games. 9 or 10 games this year. And they will finish right below the Buffalo Bills. The Jets make the playoffs. And they're a sleeper wildcard team.
Who else on that preview show was high on the Jets?
TK. TK actually doubled down on my point. Yep. It was the last
question. You could have stopped with high. You didn't even say on the Jets. I think. No. Okay.
I'm telling you, they have the offensive weapons. They have the offensive weapons. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. Mason Taylor, they're trying to see what's going on there. They've addressed the offense even more so this year. And Geno Smith is at least a competent quarterback. I know he's going to get his shit. I get it. The Vegas stuff, I understand. But deep down somewhere, Seattle Geno's still there. And Seattle Geno, we forget that he was airing the ball out to Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith and Jigba and DK Metcalf. He was airing the ball out. It was only a couple years ago, Rob. It was literally 2 years ago. He didn't have a bad last year in Seattle. It wasn't as great as the year before when he first got there, but it wasn't that bad. Vegas just makes you think of how bad he can be. And he can be bad. He can be.
But I think Jets are that team too, dude. That's what I'm just saying here.
But they've been addressing everything. They've moved on from Quinn Williams, Sauce Gardner. They've addressed the defense in every way they can.
They fired their entire coaching staff.
Yeah, but that doesn't always mean – Rob, who gives a shit? They won, 2 games last year? Who gives a shit? They needed to move on.
They're going to be better, but I don't see them being a playoff team.
It's only because I did the math on it. The division games are going to be where they win a good amount of their games. I think there's a good chance they could take both from Miami and both from New England. There's 4 right there. So now they're going to find 5 outside.
If New England – I'm more on the New England dropping off like that. You could talk me into the Jets. You could talk me. You're going to have to do some more talking, but you could talk me into the Jets. New England dropping off significantly, I'm not sure about.
Well, and the other thing is too is they all got there's all sorts of new head coaches around that division too. I think Mike Vrabel, along with all the shit he's in right now, is actually the dean of the coaches in the AFC East.
Mm-hmm.
So, like even with Buffalo, who knows? I mean, they moved on from Sean McDermott. We'll see. What is it? Joe Brady now is the head coach over there. So, I mean, nothing's really guaranteed in that division, honestly, except for the Jets having a losing record.
Because I disagree. I'll
use Charles Barkley's words. I have been rich. I have been poor. I have been fat. I have been thin. I have had hair. I have had no hair. And that entire time, the Jets have always sucked.
But the big question around the Jets, literally the last couple of years, the last 4 to 5 especially, because the Jets have had the defense there with Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams. They had to move on from those guys because those guys wanted to go play winning football. And so they sent Sauce Gardner to Indianapolis, where they didn't win. And then they sent Quentin Williams.
Sauce Gardner, he didn't win an entire game all season.
I know. The Colts literally lost every game with him.
Yeah, and the Jets were 0-4 when they traded him.
Unreal.
But you look at it, they've had the defense there. They had the offensive weapons. They still have a lot of that nucleus there. I think Aaron Glenn won't be as bad as he was this past year. You also got to remember the Jets were in such a weird spot at the quarterback position last year. And I understand. I know. Geno Smith. I get it. It's Geno Smith. He's not Joe Burrow. He's not Patrick Mahomes, so we're going to give him shit. He is competent enough. He's a veteran quarterback, and he's back in New York. Don't you think he has something to prove? I get it. He could fall on his face. Don't you think he has something to prove? He was drafted by the Jets over a decade ago. Don't you think this guy has something to prove?
Do you think this is the Sam Darnold redemption?
I don't think it's going to be the necessary Sam Darnold in terms of like they win the Super Bowl, but I think he's going to. Yes, AA. I think they win 9 or 10 games. They're above 500. He's going to help usher in where next year's quarterback class. Now we can go get our guy, but we know we have Geno playing all right. The Jets are going to be in a better spot this year than they've been in the last 4 or 5 years, at least because they have a guy that can air the ball out, and they know at least our talented offensive weapons will get the ball. Now, are we going to put too many costly turnovers and lose some of these games? Sure. But the Jets, let's also remember, are playing a last-place schedule. We talk about how the Browns, can capitalize off a last-place schedule in some of these games. The Jets are doing the same thing. The Jets are going to play last-place teams from last year. So I think that's also a factor. I don't know. Maybe I'll be wrong. I mean, we could clip this and, look at it back in January. But I promise you, I've never felt better about a take this year, outside of a team, outside of our division, than the New York Jets making the NFL playoffs this year.
He turns 36 week 6 of this year.
And here we are asking a 36-year-old on the Cavs to be our second best player. So I don't think it's so asinine for me to ask a 36-year-old quarterback to lead the Jets. I don't think it's crazy.
Well, in the Jets case, they play a sport where they have 40 car crashes a game.
Now with the quarterback, that's a bigger issue, Rob. I mean, if that's now with the quarterback, your quarterback shouldn't be getting hit 40 times a game, or we got a bigger issue.
Hey, and Jets quarterbacks have a history of staying on their feet. Just ask Aaron Rodgers that one.
But we're referencing an offensive line from 2-3 years ago. They've addressed the offensive line. They've addressed some of these positions.
They've addressed their defense every year. They've been addressing stuff since Rich Kotite was the fucking coach.
I'm telling you. It's all right. We can revisit this in January, the second week of January. We can open.
Yeah. Let's bookmark this one. I'll even in this deal. I will bet you a crisp $1 bill that the Jets are not in the playoffs.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Clip that.
Clip that.
One portrait of George Washington.
I love it. No, perfect. I actually want a picture.
Yeah, who knows? By then it might be Trump. Whatever.
I want a picture of you handing me the dollar bill, so then I can get a picture of that and then frame that and put it maybe behind me in my backdrop or something.
Okay, that's fine.
That'll be our new open. New open for this show.
I'm telling you, that's that week. The week the playoffs are announced, I want that to be the open. This take I just had.
Okay.
I feel it in my guts.
I'm going to admit I did not do my full homework on the New York Jets in mid-May.
The only change I'd like to make is, if they make the playoffs, I want that to be the open. But if I'm right, which I'm pretty damn sure I'm going to be, we need to have that air the week that the Jets are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. And I'm thinking that's probably going to be week 11.
Perfect. Okay. Let's. Ooh, okay. Ideal. I wanted to make it a little bit. We were about to get crazy into that. I was going to keep adding layers in the bet. Let's just stay where we're at. I love the bet.
We'll do a crisp $1 bill.
Let's keep it there. I was going to say, look, if you want to go mathematically, every week that they aren't mathematically eliminated after week 11, we just add to the pot. Because I'm telling you, they might even win a playoff.
We'll revisit this when the season starts. We'll revisit this when the season starts. We will have a preview show, and I'm sure this is going to come up.
They might win a playoff
game. They'll be eligible for the 7th seed until week 17 with, 7 games under 500.
AA. I'm telling you guys this. The Browns played the Jets, week 6 or week 7, I believe. It's like right in that stretch between weeks 4 and 8. I promise you, the Jets are going to be walking into that game 4-2. 4-2 or 4-1, whatever have you. They're going to be a team that everybody's talking about, and it's going to be a game where, the Browns need to go win a game against the Jets. No, the Jets aren't the same old Jets. I'm telling you. I promise you, with everything in my bones.
Let me double up on you.
All right.
Are you willing to lump in the other New York team in there?
The Giants.
Yes.
The Giants might win the NFC.
It matters.
The Giants might win the NFC.
Oh Lord.
What, in
the Giants might
1986?
Yeah.
Are we forgetting what the Giants did this offseason? Hold on. Let me
fire their coach.
And brought in John Harbaugh. You remember that guy, Rob? He's given your team and our team a lot of hell over the last decade. So I'm glad you guys asked. We're going to run over a half second. I'm going to give you a little breakdown on the New York Giants. John Harbaugh in as the new head coach, right? Then they have a guy returning from injury that's pretty good at quarterback. His name is Jackson Dart. That guy, he's coming back. Cam Scadaboo, he's coming back. Malik Neighbors, he was out from injury. He's coming back. They've addressed a lot of the needs at wide receiver, and they just continue to get better at tight end. At the line, they addressed it. They addressed both sides of the ball. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm going to take a John Harbaugh team first off to win the NFC East. That is no discussion.
I think the Cowboys might actually have something to say about that this time around. And I can't believe I said that out loud.
I'm like, if you want to talk about the Jets getting their shit together, it's the same discussion with the Cowboys.
At least the Cowboys have won a world championship in my lifetime.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you chose your words carefully. My lifetime. You've also lived, 15 to 17 years longer than me?
Bro, I saw the 90s.
Brother, Troy Aikman called. He said, hey, maybe they can win this century. Okay, come on.
Dude, I've shared the video of the weatherman giving the forecast that's all in like 91, 95, 99. And he says it's just like the Dallas Cowboys. It peaks in the mid-90s.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. The Giants are winning the NFC East. Since AA asked, that's my take on them. And they're winning the NFC. They're going
to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You have the New York Giants.
Yes.
Football Giants.
Yes.
Going to Super Bowl 61.
Yes. Yes, I do. And here's the reason why, too. Arvell Reese. He fell down to the Giants. Defensively, they're going to be a lot better. They've already been getting better defensively. Guys, I'm sorry. I don't have enough time to explain to you why my takes are right tonight. Just know the Jets are going to the playoffs. And just know the Giants are winning the Super Bowl.
Airtime.
The Giants are going to the Super Bowl. They may not win it. They're going there, though. And I'll be honest, man. This is going to be the only time, hopefully, in the next few weeks. Good for us as Cleveland fans that we can make New York feel like shit sports-wise. Because when football starts back up, they're going to have a good season in New York. They're going to.
So you have StreamYard, clip this. You have both New York teams going to the playoffs, and the New York Giants winning the NFC.
Yes.
Did I hear that correctly?
Correct. Actually, I mean, there's a strong possibility.
Okay, stop.
They're the number one seed.
Don't say it.
The number one seed, and they're just moving their way through AA. There's a chance they win it. They win it. The Super Bowl.
What Super Bowl?
61, right? That's what we're on this year. 61. Yeah, that one.
In Hall of Fame mode, correct? Madden.
AA. I just don't understand. Are we discrediting John Harbaugh right now?
I kind of am.
You guys are acting like
Let me share you my favorite stat, Eli. Let me share you my favorite stat. And I love this because it actually came up with this the Browns head coaching search this time around with Harbaugh involved. There has been no head coach in the history of the NFL in the first 60 Super Bowls. There has been no head coach who has won a Super Bowl as a head coach with two different teams. Anybody with multiple wins, if you go from Tom Landry to Vince Lombardi to Chuck Noll to Bill Walsh, everybody who has multiple victories, Andy Reid, has done it with one team and one team only. They have not managed to catch lightning in a bottle in two separate cities.
Yeah, but they have got there. Andy Reid's been there with Phillies, been there with KC. So at the very least, John Harbaugh is going to be there competing for it. Does he win it? I'm not sure. I'm not going to sit there. I don't want Double A to try to twist my words and say I said they're going to win it. They're not going to win it. They may not win it.
Down. I'm just confirmed. But you mentioned John Harbaugh. Okay. Well, he has most of his assistants with him. No, he doesn't. Most of his assistants are here with Todd Monken.
I don't doubt that New York, the Giants, are going to take a good turn. I don't doubt that at all. And I could even see them fighting for being in the division conversation. But I am not saying they're going to win multiple games in the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. There's just no way.
I believe they got Arvell Reese on defense. They addressed the line with, I believe, Francis Mahoa. I mean, they have addressed everything they can. I mean, they have done everything right for John Harbaugh. And I get the assistant thing, Double A. I get it. But I also believe John Harbaugh is one of the better coaches in the NFL still to this day. And I believe John Harbaugh is going to outcoach a lot of these coaches. I truly think they have not seen somebody like him in the NFC.
So they're going to pass Seattle, the defending champs.
Oh, I got more takes on Seattle. Do you want to talk NFL this weekend?
Seattle, Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia.
I'm taking the guy that's won a Super Bowl. So you just named out all those guys. Seattle, yes, the defending Super Bowl champions. I'll give you that. But a lot of those other teams you mentioned.
I will give you one.
Nick Sirianni won a Super Bowl in his own division. Nick
Sirianni is a different discussion. Philadelphia is about to blow that entire thing up. They're about to blow that entire thing up. That's complete. If they're
you just said if you've won a Super Bowl, I'll entertain.
Yeah, but that's my outlier to that outlier. That's my outlier to that outlier, though, because the Eagles are a different story, Rob. If we've been following anything Philadelphia, they are blowing that entire team up. Their number one receiver isn't going to be with the team whenever this becomes official and they move on to New England. Saquon Barkley looks like a shell of himself every season as we move along. Jalen Hurts, they're arguing he doesn't want to work the offense they want to work. That's a whole different discussion. So, yes, he is an outlier by himself. John Harbaugh brings over more experience than a lot of these guys do, and he is going to get the New York Giants to the NFC title game to win and go to the Super Bowl. And if the Jets play their hand right, all right, let's not go that far. But they will be in the playoffs. The Jets will be in the playoffs.
If you would have said the Jets are winning the conference,
No, I'm not that. I'm not. No.
Ended the stream immediately.
No, I'm not. No, but wait till you hear who I do have going to the Super Bowl.
I don't even want to right now.
I'll save it for this week.
That was a lot to take in. That took a turn. Congrats to the Guardians. They got 6 homers today. That took a turn that.
Yeah,
we have the whole summer to discuss.
We will.
Every nonsense that you just laid out in the last 15 minutes of programming.
Yeah, we're gonna have to spend a couple of months unpacking that one. Do we want to do a quick what we've learned, gentlemen? Because I've learned that the Inside Edge Radio Network here, podcasting network, might need to consider staff drug tests.
Oh, no.
Be careful what you wish for, Rozycki.
No.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. That's all I'll say. No,
I'll consider alternative options.
Yeah. Is that what you learned? Well, I mean, shoot, if you're being short to the point of what you learned, yeah, awesome. If that's what you learned, what I learned this weekend, it was great being back with the guys, being back with the main event fellas. I'll just take this time to announce that we will be back with you next Sunday, and we'll have great weekly and daily programming here on the Inside Edge Network. We appreciate your support. I just wanted to take my time here for what I learned this weekend was that the support continued to overflow over the weekend. Real Talk with Pop Moon. I appreciate everybody tuning in there here tonight with us on Main Event and all the replays we put out there as well. We appreciate you guys, whether you catch it live or catch it on the replay. We truly could not do it without you. So thanks for helping be the heartbeat of the Inside Edge Network. Us as Cleveland's digital leader and your source for sports, entertainment, mental health conversations, news, everything in between. Yes, I'm just very gracious, and I want to say thank you for the support over the weekend. And continued support over the last 9 months and going forward. Thank you.
Okay, for me,
That's you,
me,
Double A.
I'm sorry. For me, this is kind of a little bit deep here, but this particular week is always the most complicated week of the year for me. At the end of the week, it's going to be fantastic because my mom's birthday is on the 22nd. She's great. She's the rock of our family, and she's fantastic. And moms are. I am a lucky person to have my mom in my life. Period. Anything that's needed, just love, support, anything, literally anything. She's there for me, and I don't acknowledge her enough. The week starts, though. It's always tricky for me because around this time 9 years ago, this is May 18th, I lost my dad unexpectedly. Woke up one day and he had, heart attack, and that was it. And always think about, for me personally, what I'm doing now, what I've done with broadcasting in the last 10 plus years. Fortunate enough to do it at radio stations here locally, and then now the InsideEdge Network. Always think about, man, what would my dad say about some of my takes? What would he say in general? Things like that. I still hear his voice, things like that. I remember he was at our OMS graduation. He outdressed all of us there. And that was with Eli allowing me to borrow his championship title at the graduation. But I know we're not supposed to go on the air at any point in sports talk and say, man, the reason why the Cavs won by 30-some points tonight was because of a higher power. I kind of felt that, to be perfectly honest. I kind of felt like my dad was kind of speaking tonight's victory into existence, kind of speaking into, hey, we could toughen up, like, hey, come out aggressive, come out and do, things, certain things. So it's always tough, but, we'll get through it. We get through it and stuff like that. So, I know we don't say it enough. I know sometimes we do take it for granted. I take it for granted. Love on your parents, especially while they're here, things like that. If you are a parent, thank you, be there for your kids and things like that. Because, you just never know, So I want to thank my dad for everything that he's done for me. If he was still here, he would probably be a co-host on Midnight Run, to be perfectly honest, at least a part-time co-host or, some involvement and things like that. But I know he's proud. I know he's looking down, proud of me and my brother and our entire family. And I'm sure he's happy about the Cavs win, and he would probably be questioning everything that Eli just said in the last 20 minutes.
I know I am.
All kidding aside, though, I had no problem debating sports with anybody because as an 8, 9, 10-year-old kid, I'm in the car listening to sports talk radio because he put it on. And, it wasn't just, hey, why is this team good? Or why is this player good? Or why is this player bad? Like, you wanted to survive our household, you needed to know your sports in and out. So thank you, Dad, for everything that you've done for me and my brother and our entire family.
Yeah, it's kind of a position that you and me and Double A both are kind of in, and why I'm a little jealous of guys like Eli and even on a national scale, a dude like Dan Lebitard, is that you guys have the chance to work with your dads. And I lost mine actually a couple weeks. In a couple weeks, I'll be celebrating commemorating the 10th anniversary of my dad passing. And yeah, like Double A, he never saw me on the radio or heard me on the radio, or heard me do any of this kind of stuff. Of all the shows I've ever hosted on the internet and through the airwaves, he didn't hear one word of that. And yeah, I can't help but be a little jealous of, Moon or, anybody else who has a chance to, squawk at their dad and make, because yeah, me and Double A, we've had practice runs, stuff that wasn't recorded, stuff that, we had to learn how to, talk our way out of some of these, takes and some of these issues, but we never had a chance to do it on, for everyone to see and to, to record and have for later on. So Definitely, Double A, you're in my mind, and my dad's in my mind, everything like that. And Moon, I still have no idea what you're talking about with those takes, but it is what it is. And real quick, I got a reasonably serious one that's not just the drug testing thing. I have ESPN on here in my studio. I have ESPN.com up on my webpage here. I'm looking at it right now with the Cavs score. And I am seeing through SportsCenter, I am seeing on ESPN.com advertisements for Banana Ball. And actually, if you go on ESPN.com, you see MLB, NFL, NHL, NCAA, Banana Ball. Anybody who's been on the website knows what I'm talking about with that top bar. And I am learning that the Banana Ball whole conglomeration, because I think there are now about 6 or 8 teams. I think they are spreading like wildfire. I know the Indianapolis Clowns were added this year, and that's been a lot of the ramp up right now for them. But Major League Baseball, I'm learning right now that you can strike. You can have your labor problems. You can have your millionaires and billionaires fighting each other and have it be national news. But Jesse Cole and the Banana Ball franchise is getting ready for that. And I would not be shocked if these guys on some level, and I know that, it's more of a show, it's more of a event to witness than maybe a conventional baseball game, major league game. But these guys are preparing to fill this void, and they're preparing to be the next available show in town when it comes down to watching baseball for a summer. And we've seen it before. They were in Cleveland a couple of weeks or last year, I think. And, CC, I think, was there. Jason Kipnis was there. Imagine what happens if Banana Ball opens up next year in the spring and you have Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, any of the active major leaguers, because they're not doing anything else. So I would expect that there is going to be somebody in Jesse Cole, who's running Banana Ball right now, who's very interested in what Major League Baseball's labor situation is going to look like in 2027. But yeah, that's what I've learned.
And Netflix will open up their pocketbook for additional events.
It's already on. Anytime I throw on my Roku, it's on Roku channel for free. Mm-hmm. It's getting ESPN games now. It's getting coverage. They are moving. And where Jesse Cole is looking at this, he wants everyone to be involved. I don't think he envisions Banana Ball being behind a paywall for anybody. So I think that's going to help them out too, big time.
Oh, it will. It will. And one little quick sports thing, just real quick. Thank goodness that MMA card on Netflix was on Netflix
Christ.
And not pay-per-view. Ronda Rousey, 15 seconds.
I mean, what did you expect? What did you expect?
I expected the post-match hug to be longer than the match.
I mean,
it would be shorter than the match.
Is this your first Ronda Rousey fight?
The fight was 15 seconds long, and the hug was a minute and a half.
Is this your first Ronda Rousey fight?
Yes, in the last 12 years it is.
Well, even 12 years before that, all of her fights went. I could put together all of her wins. All the full highlights would be less than 10 minutes. I just don't know. I'm glad you actually have this take, Double A, because I'm going to revisit this with you this week, because anybody that didn't like that card, I disagree completely.
The only thing I'll say.
At least they got paid.
No. I didn't hate it. I would have hated it if it was on pay-per-view. That was as far as my Netflix.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I get it. I mean, I'm not paying.
If you drop $60 on that, I could see being pretty pissed.
That'd be the same thing with any WWE PLE right now.
Well,
I mean,
the thing is, that with WWE being worked, you don't have 15-second matches.
Well, I wonder, and Rob, I will actually defer to you. How did people feel in the 90s if, Mike Tyson had a pay-per-view fight?
Peter McNeely was the one that comes to mind. I remember, I forget how old I was for that, but that was kind of the first party I went to where, $10 for everybody involved, you get the pay-per-view. And McNeely, I think, was 30 seconds long. He had a bunch of those in the mid-90s. And for me as a fight fan, it kind of turned me off. I understand that there is some sort of art and there is some sort of skill in putting away somebody in 15 seconds. I'm not going to disrespect that at all, but especially when you're waiting around to the main event at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and the main event's 20 seconds long, that turned me off as a fight fan for sure.
But in fairness, you've never really been. I mean, especially the last couple of years, have not been a strong fight fan.
No.
So I mean, anybody that does at least appreciate good mixed martial arts, there was a lot of good things to like about that card. And I'll let you break that down on primetime tomorrow with Chad. We'll be talking about the Rozycki fight and some of the positives. There were lowlights. I mean, like, where were the fans? But I mean, there was a lot of highlights too, I thought, and I think Netflix definitely has something very interesting if them and MVP were to team up against the UFC. They have the pocketbook to do so, and there's enough big names. John Bones Jones was on literally the desk during the Francis Ngannou fight.
What do you think about? I know. Speaking of UFC, what do you think about Dana White dropping the Conor McGregor news that he's going to be coming back? In July, basically as the main event walk-up was happening for Rousey and Carano.
Yeah, it was during Ngannou's walkout. It was just disrespectful, completely disrespectful. But that's Dana White for you. He hates Jake Paul. Jake Paul hates him. That's promoters for you. That's why I call myself a community creator, not a show promoter, because show promoters do shitty business, a lot of them, and that's what it comes down to. So I don't know. I just it's gonna be fun to see Conor back. I can't wait to talk about that too tomorrow and this week.
Oh my god!
I can't wait. This is last run. I know we're running over. This is last run. If he can stay, if his nose can stay out of the trouble, and the rest of his body can stay out of trouble, this could be a very interesting run. That's all I'll say.
I will admit, I did not think I would ever see Conor McGregor back in the octagon. That news surprised me. So if people watch, that's
now.
Now
here's what I'm at.
There's more meat to all this. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, let's go to bed.
Yeah, we're doing really good at kind of creating a whole new show rundown 10 minutes after we're supposed to be off air. But yes, I guess we'll use this time to part ways with everybody to take our final bounce for the evening. Again, thank you for joining us. Cavaliers win 125-94.
Thank you, Cavs.
Detroit Pistons going into Game 7. Now going into Game 1 now with the New York Knicks on Tuesday. By the way, the other thing I learned after seeing the replay about 35 times, after Donovan Mitchell hit that buzzer beater at the end of the first quarter, reading his lips, the exact quote was "boom, boom, motherfuckers." I think that was pretty appropriate for what was happening. But yeah, we'll obviously tune in to the Inside Edge podcasting network here for the all week. We got Midnight Run with Double A. We got Kyle Cornell. Everyone's going to be involved here. Basically doing a postmortem on this Eastern Conference second round series and previewing what the hell is going to be happening at Madison Square Garden. I move that if we beat the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, that we call Cleveland now the Mecca of basketball. Because unlike the Knicks, we've won a title in the 21st century. And I think that if we beat them straight up in their house, we should just take the title. But it is what it is.
Wine and gold skies. Wine and gold skies.
But yeah, anything to get, dude, and also if we beat them, I don't think anybody, one of us, is going to be allowed an MSG as long as James Dolan is owning that team. Or the Sphere. But yeah, it is what it is. For everybody here in studio, for Eli Moon, for Double A Anthony Alford, I am Rob Rozycki. Thank you for joining us, even though we ran about 25 minutes long. That being said, the Cavaliers don't make the Eastern Conference Finals all the time. So thank you for giving us a little bit of a leeway with that. Again, for everybody here in studio, Double A Anthony Alford, Eli Moon, I am Rob Rozycki. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network, and we will see you next week.
Jets.